Who's ready for the Dirt Life Show?
Woo-wee! Episode 58 of the Dirt Life Show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on this fine Monday night. We appreciate you guys joining us. As always, we want you guys to jump into the comments on our live sessions on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight we got a really, really good show planned for you guys, man. The racing has been insane the last few weeks here. It's like 2020 started off shitty, but now like the racing stuff is just getting super, super good. So I'd like to welcome back in the studio my co-host extraordinaire. Started the Dirt Life Show with me, Cody Sanders. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
How are you doing today?
Been a long day, dude. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's super cool to have you back in the studio, man. You have been doing a lot of stuff in the off-road industry lately, and you get to go to the dunes this week.
Yeah, man. I can't wait.
Dude, that's going to be sweet, man. It might be a little hot, though, right?
Some people got a little discouraged. We did it last year, and from like
it's the first dune trip of the year for you guys.
First
though, right?
dune. It's actually the first day of dune season.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Early.
I didn't even know there was like
like October 1st is the day that you have to have a permit.
Like National Hot Dog Day.
Yeah,
but it's actually
You know how I like my hot dogs, dude.
Well, I'm stoked you came back to studio, dude. It's really good to have you here. So tonight's show is going to be freaking stacked, man. So
I'm pretty stoked on it.
I know that you are like really into the trail riding and obviously duning and stuff like that. But man, this racing stuff has just been going insane the last few weeks.
Everybody back together.
It's really
cool. Crazy.
Yeah, and it does suck that everybody has to wear masks and stuff. But man, it just doesn't get any better than everybody being all in the same place and hanging out. So let's get through our sponsors and stuff real quick. So we always want you guys to join us and interact with us. Please just jump on our social media channels. Come on YouTube. Get on Facebook. Jump in the comments. Hang out with us. It's awesome to have you guys. We really, really enjoy all of the interaction that we've had. Our social media has been really interactive lately, so we really appreciate everything. We have a couple cool projects that we've been working on, so it's neat to be able to share all this stuff with you guys. So I'm going to start a watch party on Facebook right now, my personal one, so you guys can feel free to do the same as well, and we can all have some fun together. You can visit us anytime. You can always watch us in the archives. We're on iTunes, Spotify, now Amazon. So we're pretty much everywhere. So anytime you can just pull up your app on your phone, you can just find us and hang out, watch us, do whatever you want. If you can't watch us on Monday nights live, you can always hit us up on the archives. You can always hit us up on social media if you have any questions. We've been getting a lot of questions on some of these projects that we've been working on. We did a little project with Honda, got a lot of questions from that. We're doing a little project on an RS1 build that we're taking to the UTV World Championship. Man, we getting a ton of people interacting with that. So it's super cool to have you guys be a part of that stuff. If you are just listening for the first time, you can join us on social media at The Dirt Life Show. Instagram is always the best one. It's our fastest growing channel, our fastest growing outlet, so please join us there. You can always interact with us on Facebook, and we'll try to get to your messages as quickly as possible. So thank you guys again for joining us and interacting with us so far. We want to thank all of our sponsors. They are the ones that keep us alive, so that's why we mention them at the beginning of the show. They've been doing a really, really, really awesome job helping us with the show, and now they come on board with some of this little project stuff that we're doing. So thank you very much to the Shock Therapy. Justin at Shock Therapy is actually going to call in tonight, give us a little Baja 500 recap. Sounded like it was a pretty gnarly race down there in Baja, man.
I saw some of just clips of it, and I was like, oh, man, like all the silt and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Looks super gnarly. And there was so many teams that had issues and stuff, but it's cool to see everybody go into it with so much more preparation and then understanding like, shit, this is still racing, dude. Like, we could be as prepared as possible and the track will still win no matter what. So I think it's cool because it really shows the determination, the willpower, and the never give up attitudes of all these racers, because there was so many people that had issues and still never gave up.
I saw the carnage, man. I saw those too.
Yeah, they either made it across the finish line or they placed. So it was really cool to see all that stuff. So, thank you to Justin at Shock Therapy for being a partner of the show. You can use the code DIRTLIFE over at Shock Therapy and save a whole bunch of money. We know a lot of people have been getting referred over there and doing a bunch of stuff. He's really kicking ass. His business is doing really well, and we want you guys to support him because he supports us. So thank you very much to the guys at Shock Therapy. Thanks to Ryan over at KMC Wheels and the guys at EFX Tires too. Ryan over at EFX Tires, they jumped on board with this RS1 project that we're working on, and they got it all dialed in. So we're going to see those guys at the UTV World Championship. So we definitely want you guys to say hi if you guys are out there as well. Thank you to the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Save a whole bunch of money there as well. They make so much cool stuff. I mentioned it on the last show, but the UTV industry, I don't know if you've seen or purchased like any UTV stuff lately, but the UTV industry, like the level of all the products is like, it's just so much higher than it used to be 2 years
Getting like
ago.
sandcar style from back in the 2000s, early 2000s.
I don't know. I feel like it's even a little bit, well, maybe not like buckshot sandcar style, but like it's really, really good. Like the level of like, I don't know. In my mind, I think like Formula One, right, where everything's custom made.
Yeah.
It's like perfect. Like I start seeing these things, like trying to reach those levels, and I just get so excited because the UTV guys are like just chomping at the bit to get these products. And Zollinger is one of the guys that does that stuff. So, like I said, use the code DIRTLIFE at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. And Solderwell, thank you guys very much. Or excuse me, thank you, Lance, and all the guys over at Solderweld for helping us out. They've been on board since day one. I know you have an off-road repair kit in your rig.
Yep, I've used it.
Oh, really?
Not on the Yamaha, because it's the Yamaha, dude. We don't break down. It's usually a Polaris I help out here and there.
But you did use it, huh?
We did use it, yeah.
Yeah, so those things help out, man. So
Yep.
you guys should all have an off-road repair kit on your vehicle to make sure that you can finish your race or finish your ride is their motto. So you can use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com, save a whole bunch of money. And speaking of KMC, we still got this Smell of Victory candle in the studio.
Sure does smell like victory.
Dude, I can't believe...
You should put that on your dash in the race, dude.
Really? At the UTV World Championships have this?
You should, just
taped
hang
on
it
the
out. Yeah,
dashboard?
you should.
It'll make me go faster because I'll be chasing that smell. Dude, this thing is really, really good, man. I love that thing. And plus, it's the smell of victory, man. So we're going to talk with a person that was victorious this weekend at the Baja 500. She's going to call in, I think around, 6:40 tonight? Kristen Matlock. And Kristen's a friend of the show and just an all-around good person. Her and her husband, Wayne, have both been on the show, and they had an awesome time down there in Baja, pre-running, having a good time. So I want to talk to her about that because, honestly, that's on my bucket list, dude. I don't know if you'd be down to go, just like pre-run. We don't have to race or anything. Just go down, pre-run the course, have fun, eat tacos.
I'm in. You said
out.
taco, dude.
Give out stickers.
I'm in.
And so I think it'll be cool to talk to her about all that stuff. But one of the most impressive things that she did over the weekend was she drives a normally aspirated Polaris, well, we'll call it a four-seater, but Polaris race car. And she won the UTVs overall, passed all the turbos, and won the UTVs overall. So it's pretty phenomenal that she has the capability and driving skill to do that. So I can't wait to talk to her about it. I mean, they've done their homework, but even her husband, Wayne, I think he started before her. We'll ask her in a turbo car, and he still finished behind her.
It's crazy.
Dude, it's insane, right? So how awesome would that feel to be the first UTV to cross the finish line, though?
That'd be game changer in life, dude.
I know.
Everything you've worked
For a
so
Baja
hard
500.
for. Yeah, like that is a huge race too, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That would really be something.
So I don't know if we got any comments coming in. I got a couple. Matt Gerald, what's up, man? How are you? Zach Jeffers, what's up, dude? Yeah, and then excuse me, Chris Summers, Cody must be talking about the dunes.
Yep.
So we can talk about that a little bit before we get in this racing stuff.
Oh well, John Hubbard's. Did you find a seat for the RS1?
We did. So thanks for asking that question, John. Actually, the RS1 is at a secret, undisclosed location right now.
Yep. It ain't in the garage, folks. I tried to see it. I tried.
Tried to peep it, but so we're just finishing up with some of the harnesses and safety equipment on that bad boy. You guys know that I'm a huge proponent of safety, big safety guy right here now. Like I'm a huge proponent of safety now. So we have some pretty cool stuff that we're going to be coming up with in the next, I don't know, maybe we'll call it like 2-3 months, that we're going to be working with a company called UPR and Jeff Furrier on. And it's going to really showcase a lot of the stuff. I was going to ask Cody, and what a better time to ask him on the show. We'd like to set up a UTV event in Southern Arizona and have people come out. Obviously, we can do show and glow, and they can show off their cars and have a good time, eat tacos.
Yep.
And what we'd like to do is have Jeff come out and weigh people's vehicles with the scales that he has, and allow them to, because I think he's going to be working with shock therapy pretty soon, and so they can get spring kits and things like that through Justin or through Jeff, as well as he'll be there with, basically it's like a mock-up seat that you can sit in, and it can test all of the ways that you can sit in the seat, where you can put your harnesses, and it shows people safety, and we can go look at people's cars while they're there talking, eating tacos and stuff, and we can show them how to be safe in their cars. I think it would be super cool.
I think that's one of the biggest things that people don't fully maybe not know or understand. You helped out quite a bit of people that I know through dune trips and stuff, and
my crew chief Brian did.
Yeah, and it was insane to learn how many people don't correctly wear them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
So there's a really easy way to explain it. And like most people, when they put in harnesses in their UTVs, they just set up their harnesses, and you were guilty of this as well as your wife, Carly. They just set up their harnesses and they put them how they feel comfortable, right? Well, that's okay to do, but most of the time the stock lap belt that rolls over your shoulder is more protective than that setup with those harnesses. And it's crazy how people don't know that and don't understand it. But there's a certain way that you need to set it up. It has to be, at a certain level of your shoulders. It can't be around your seat. Like, unfortunately, the Yamahas have a big problem with that, where the harnesses go around the seat. Little girls like your wife, it barely even hugged her side of her shoulders, like. So it's really important to have that. So I think it would be cool to have a little show and glow event and talk about safety and stuff.
Hey, just let me know. We'll plan it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. So for those of you that don't know or don't remember, Cody was on the first episodes of the Dirt Life show, and he is a big proponent of safety too, but he operates a page on Facebook called 520 Side by Side, which is a Southern Arizona side-by-side group, but has tons of members, tons of interaction. It's really cool because the whole community comes together. You guys do rides and events and rad stuff.
Diamond Children's every year.
Yeah, that was a cool event, helping out kids and stuff. So you guys should go check that out for sure, and say hi to all those guys over there too. It's not just people in Arizona too.
No,
you got people in California, you got people in Phoenix, everywhere.
Ended up just being that way, and we all usually meet up at the dunes.
That's exactly why we call the show the Dirt Life, because everybody wants to collaborate together, right?
Yep.
So, all right. So, and that actually brings me to my first subject that we want to talk about tonight was how cool this is. Like, I've been noticing ever since we started the show. We started it because we love the dirt, right? And we like playing in the dirt. But the more that the show grows and the more that I interact with people, I see how really awesome the community is and how really caring all the people are in the community, especially with this little RS1 project that we're doing, and how many people want to jump on board, how many people want to help out, and how many people really, really enjoy being a part of the side-by-side community. And you get to see that often with the side-by-side page that you have. Yep. It's pretty interesting, right? It's
just come a really long way.
Yeah. It's neat to see that, though. And it's all because people like playing in the dirt. That's simple, right? So, and you get to go do that this week. When are you leaving to go to the dunes?
Wednesday night after work.
Ooh, that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, so I'll get out there at dark.
Off?
Yeah, I got 2 days off, and then at the end of the month is Halloween. And it's actually Halloween this year.
At the dunes, it's on Halloween?
Camp Razor's a no-go, so it's still going to be a normal Halloween weekend like it used to be years ago.
So I got a message the other day on Facebook about some Halloween costumes with Tiger King.
Oh, yeah. Did you see mine? I got Tigger.
Did you?
Yeah.
I wonder how many people are going to be the Tiger King.
Everybody, man. A lot of people were going with because we're doing – we did that one year, everybody dresses up on like a Friday or Saturday or whatever.
Right, yeah.
We're all going to do that.
That's pretty standard
barbecue.
operating procedure, though.
You're riding around in your outfit, so that'd be pretty cool.
What were you when I was the taco? What were you that year?
I don't know, drunken white guy.
Were you? I remember
I don't remember.
Feeding me a beer bong.
Oh, the beer bong, yeah.
While I had a taco outfit on. That was pretty fun, dude.
Yep. That was a good trip.
Dang, Halloween's probably going to be badass this year.
I think so. I think it's going to bring back what it used to be.
Yeah.
And there's a lot with the whole COVID stuff, and a lot of people are going to Country Thunder and then the Dunes because
it's just trying to get out.
Yeah, and then Bike Week is the same month, like Phoenix Bike Week. Like, there's a lot going on this month.
It'll be cool though to see everybody back out doing what they love to do.
Yep.
Well, maybe we should call this we should rebrand all the logos instead of just the Dirt Life. We should put the Dirt/Sand Life.
Sand underneath it, really small.
Or cross it out and then put sand.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I think you guys are gonna have a blast, though, man. Who's all gonna be going on your trip? Is there gonna?
There's supposed to be 30 people going.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Last year I think we only had 6, and we had the Dunes to ourselves.
So 30 people in just your circle or your camp?
That we'll be the only ones out there.
Dude, that's gonna be sweet, though.
Yeah.
What kind of cars are going? Can-Ams?
Everything. Yamahas. A couple local company here in town. One off-road doing a secret build. So they're bringing it out. Yeah.
Gonna unveil it.
Yep.
That's cool. Talking about unveiling stuff, we're gonna debut the RS1 build that we just did because the UTV World Championship. It'll start for us next Monday. Because we're going to pre-run and stuff, so no show next Monday, but we're going to have a lot of content coming out at the UTV Worlds. But we're going to debut it or unveil it on Thursday at the Shock Therapy Live. They think they start at 12:30, and we're going to do a whole photo shoot with it in the morning and stuff. The car turned out insane cool. You guys are going to love it. And I'm not just saying that because I built it, because I put a lot of effort into it, but there was so many people that touched it and put their hands on it that made it so much cooler. You know what I mean? It means a lot to build one of those things, to me personally, because I get to put my hands on it, right? But to understand that all of these people came together to do it, it makes it that much better.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool.
Everybody just coming together, man. And it's not even about winning, dude. It's literally winning at life for yourself and accomplishing it. And if we're all on your team with you going through that finish line, dude,
I can't wait.
If you go through that finish line, first or last, man, it don't matter. It's going to be awesome.
I was talking to Justin at Shock Therapy, too, and I was talking to him about, we can ask him, but I was like, I'm going to be like the Ricky Bobby, when he gets back in the car after having his accident. Be like, what was that
Cruising.
That just passed me? What was that? Was that a
see
car?
The coyote run by you?
Just smoking by me. So I'm going to be going so slow. That RS1 handles like a freaking dream in the whoops, though, dude. We had it pegged going, I think 78 was its fastest.
That's
it could
crazy.
go, through 3-4 foot whoops, just wide open, and those shocks handled it like butter. I couldn't believe it. So, and John was that's commented in. What's he got? Question there. He was saying he worked for another
Chase
team
for a
Baja.
1900 team in the last year's Baja 1000.
So maybe he's got some questions for Kristen, because I know that they did a whole bunch of different Chase stuff because they had so many people that they had to take care of this last race. So so it's kind of crazy though. We talk about all this work, people are making these builds, doing all these crazy things. Since I'm just kind of, I don't know what you want to say, getting my life organized again, after all this crap that happened to me last year. My body has been so sore, it's crazy. I don't know if you ever feel like this, but it feels like I could just somehow, if I could put Zerk fittings in and I could get grease to grease up my bones.
What's that one movie where they? Oh man, it's old.
I need to oil. How do you oil your bones? That's what I need, dude.
Get a hot tub.
Maybe that could
Get
be
a hot tub, dude.
That could be a good one. We'll put a hot tub at the studio. We'll just have a
there you go.
A studio,
right in here, man. They make the blow up ones for $400.
A hot tub show.
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
Cleaning the dirt off the life.
Yeah. Well, we would probably have to have your wife and then some other girls in here too.
Oh yeah.
Because nobody's gonna want to look at us in swim trunks.
Hey.
So I was just thinking about it the other day because I was walking around and I was like, holy crap, I feel like I'm squeaking. I feel like my body is squeaky because it needs to get lubed up.
Yeah, but how much metal's in your body, George?
That's true.
Be real.
Maybe I should put some Zert fittings on here. So I learned something new the other day too, and I keep talking about myself, but Justin's calling in actually, so we'll talk to him, but I'll get back to it in just a second here. Justin Smith, what's going on, bud?
Oh, Mr. Hamill, how are you, man?
We're doing good. We were just talking about we wish we could put Zerk fittings or something on our bodies so that we could lube up our bones a little bit better when we get a little bit sore.
That would be like an age preventer. and I would feel 30 again instead of what I am.
Would you bring your mullet back?
Hell, dude, if it meant that I could act like I was 30 and be 30, I would wear a mullet off every orifice of my body. If that's what
You'd have a mullet on
Dude,
your
I got
knee.
that stuck in my head right now.
A mullet on your knee, wherever it is.
You can't unhear that. You surely can't unsee that.
I'm definitely looking right now everywhere, and that's what I see.
Well, I know that you're busy at work because you just got home from the races and stuff like that, Justin, but I appreciate you taking the time with us. We got Cody Sanders, co-host extraordinaire, in the studio, so that's whose voice you're going to hear. But we had you call in because we wanted to hear how the races went this weekend, man. You just did the Baja 500, and you're already back at work kicking butt.
Man, I only caught half of what you said, but you know what? When it came to this race, I don't even think you could call it the Baja 500. You really should call it 2 San Felipe 250s.
Oh, really?
Because the San Felipe race is the hardest race on any race calendar, period. I mean, it's the most whoops. It's the hardest on vehicles. Only race that overheats trophy truck shocks on a routine basis. And because of all the COVID stuff in Mexico, this was 2 San Felipe 250s that they called a Baja 500.
Crap, man. So it was shock testing to the nth level.
We took the time actually to throw a bunch of shock cooling devices on our car, which worked out great because the last time we ran San Felipe, we were running, overheating temps on the shocks, like 290, 300 degrees. And this race, we didn't get over 220. So some of that stuff worked out. And that kind of testing is what we end up throwing into a lot of the stuff that ends up in customers' products, and we're happy to do it. It's fun, and it helps us go faster, hopefully, most of the time.
Yeah, plus
it was a rough race.
I just think it's cool that you can actually throw all of those measuring tools and different electronics to be able to test all that stuff. I geek out on that kind of shit.
Well, you know me pretty well. I'm pretty much a nerd on that stuff.
Computer guy with shocks. Hey, so what was the deal when you guys went down there? Because I know that you guys had kind of a crazy schedule because you had to get away from work and you had to shred down to Baja. So you did or did not have time to pre-run?
We did not pre-run this race. It's the first Mexico race we have not pre-run. There were some things that bit us because of that, and it was mostly scheduling. We couldn't get down there, but one thing, we had a pit plan in place, and we couldn't found out because we did not pre-run. We did not have access to 2 of the pits.
Oh shit!
And so on the fly, we're 30 miles into the race, and I hear the crew discussing all the changes in pit strategy that are happening right during the race. Everything we had planned on, not going to happen. And they're changing their spots, and they did an amazing job. They had it all figured out. I didn't have to get on the radio and talk once. They just had it all worked out, mileage and everything done. Just told us when to stop.
Okay, so that's one of the things that we were going to talk with you guys about today was how much fun it is to be down in Baja, but the crew has to be so much more on point. We said it in the last, I think, 3 or 4 shows. A driver is awesome, right? Justin's a fantastic driver. He knows what he's doing, but the crew and the co-drivers are so, I feel like they're more important.
More eyes, man.
Well, they are. I mean, you can drive as fast as you want. You can drive as slow as you want, smart or stupid. But if they aren't where you're supposed to, we were going to pit at race mile 100 to do a mileage check and kind of verify that we had the mileage that we needed for everything else. And without a crew to figure everything out, we just showed up at 100 and no one would have been there.
That's insane.
And your race is over. It doesn't matter who's driving. So the crew is everything, and then the driver's second.
So what was the you guys just had to all of a sudden scramble and get everything redialed in?
Yeah, so on the race maps that are given out, there's an access road listed for the race mile 100, and then the race course goes up north to Mexicali and comes back down and hits that same spot at race mile 220. And they do that a lot in racing so that the crew doesn't have to move. And so one truck could fuel you twice. That was our plan. Okay, well, since we didn't pre-run and check that, during the race, they went over to go there and found out that road access was blown out from storms and floods.
Oh, crap.
And it was completely unaccessible and turned into a dry lake, like a mud bog dry lake, and you didn't have access to it.
Did that happen?
So they changed everything up. Yeah, everybody.
Shit.
Only people that were at that spot were locals and quads. There was nobody there.
Dang, man.
So they changed it up. We fueled at 80, and we fueled at 160, and then we fueled at 280, and we fueled at 351. And that was one more fuel than we needed. But it was the only way we could get it done when we had to shorten up all of our plans.
That's crazy. And like when Justin talks about this, he makes it sound easy, right? But like doing the calculations and the math to do that, like just think about how hard it is to drive from here to San Diego and be like, oh shit, I passed that gas station. Where am I going to get gas next? Like this is way more difficult, right?
Scary, man. That's what that is.
It really
so then
is.
You throw a little bit more at it. You know, we got like 5.5 miles a gallon in the sandy washes that are uphill floored the whole time at 40, 50 miles an hour.
Oof.
We got, 8 miles a gallon at 90, 95 miles an hour on a lake bed. And so, there's sections that are all nice and hard packed and you get great mileage, and there's sections that are just bogged down horrible and get crappy mileage. So you can't really plan the same on every single fuel stage.
Yeah.
And that's why pre-running is important, because you know where all those bogged down spots are and you can adjust accordingly.
Yeah, so and all the math that goes behind that's bananas too. Well, so you were talking about the whoop sections and stuff like that. So I've never been down to San Felipe, but if there's that many whoops, and I just talked about how my bones feel, how does your body feel today, dude?
I got to tell you, I found a lot more sore muscles in me than I've had in a long time. Pretty much every single muscle in my back that's connected to any movement in my arm it feels like I worked out for 6 hours straight after never working out for 20 years.
Oh,
wow,
man.
That's like a 2-week
My
wait
neck
period.
It really is.
Yeah, for sure. My neck is stiff as a board because I would be, say, paying attention to a gauge and then, smack something hard and get a zinger and, your arm go to sleep because it hits you so hard.
Yeah.
So my neck is a bit sore. And for some reason, some Mexico bee stung me in the hand, and I got a puffy hand, too, in the middle of all that.
Great. Yeah, way to add insult to injury, right? Well, we want to talk about
I know,
your
right?
race.
What'd I do to the bee? I didn't do anything to him.
Well, who knows? Maybe you stole his taco. Did you guys get any good tacos down there?
Always, man. We pull into town. It's the first thing we do.
Nice.
We leave town. That's the last thing we do. We want to get the best of the city on the way out and on the way in. It was great. We had a disappointing race. Our plan was it was super hot and super humid. Over 100 degrees and probably 90% humidity near the ocean. And there's a lot of hot lake floored and overheat stuff for blow belts, and we just figured we'd let them do it. So we were going to run not half pace, but a relaxed pace for the first half. And we did that. We started 11th, and by our first fuel 80, we were third.
Dang.
And we passed a lot of guys, and a lot of guys fell off. And then we maintained third through 160. And then after 160, we had secondary clutch seize up on us, which basically stuck us on the rev limiter at 45 miles an hour.
Oh.
So from 220 to 280, we couldn't go any faster than 45 on the rev limiter. And so when we could, we pretty much just sat it right there, bouncing off the limiter as much as we could. Got to the pit, changed the secondary, changed some more stuff. We actually threw a front shock on it.
Secondary? Like, how did you figure that out while you're driving?
Well, I've done a lot of clutch testing, and the secondary is basically what shifts in at about 45 miles an hour and gives you that high gear.
Got it.
So since the clutching was maxed out, I knew we were running on the primary only, and the secondary wasn't working.
Yeah, process of elimination kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been there before too, and had them blow up, and it felt the same. So that was pretty easy. But in the pit, our guys again killed it. You're talking about the importance of your crew. They did a secondary clutch, a front shock, fuel, water, and 5 other little things in 12 minutes.
Holy smokes! Serious?
That's pretty good.
12 minutes. I have video of it. We're gonna do like fast motion and post it so everybody can see. It was 12 minutes. Unbelievable. We came into that pit thinking we're just finishing this race. We don't have a chance because we've been running 45 miles an hour for the last 50 miles. And this is going to take 25, 30 minutes to fix the car, blah, blah, blah. We're way out of it. 12 minutes later, we're back on the road and thinking that we can catch second place.
Dude, that's freaking bananas, man.
That's wild.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Though. That's a testament to your boys, though, for getting that thing done.
Big time. They're awesome. And so now we're on the course with a car that can run some mile an hour and through the whoops with the shock fixed. And we're doing the math, and we're getting the splits that we're 13 miles behind second place at Murray's, and we're 18 miles behind Matlock. And we're doing the math. I'm like, I got to be 10% faster than them to catch them in 150 or 60 miles. Damn, that's that's running with your hair on fire.
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's try it. So we turned it up as hard as I could drive the car. And, 20 minutes later, that 13-mile lead was 10.
Nice.
And then another 20 minutes, it was 7 miles. Then it was 5. Then it was 3. And we ended up catching Murray's in 80 miles.
That's freaking
and
sweet.
passed them.
Dang, consistent.
It was awesome. It was the most fun part of the race. And then a few miles later, we passed Matlock, and he was broken on the side of the road, but they were getting back in the car to go, kind of like maybe they had a belt or something. So we picked it up even harder because we figured he was going to chase us. And then 20 minutes later, our crew says, hey, they're going the wrong direction, 25 miles an hour, like they're going back to town. So he must have been broke.
Oh, crap. Wayne ended up pulling a third, though.
He did. So what he ended up doing is he broke an upper control arm, drove it to town or back to the highway, fixed it with his crew, drove back to the same spot on the course that he stopped, and then rejoined the race and finished it.
Dude, talk about never give
up. That's how he did
awesome.
that.
Both you guys.
Right. So we kept the pace because I wanted to keep the gap to the Murrays big enough for us to change a tire. So we got 7 miles ahead of them and then kind of maintain that. And we took a splash of fuel at 450, and we're thinking, we got 40 miles to go, and we got the win. And we're 7 minutes ahead of second. We're good to go. Just kind of cruise it, and we're just cruising at 470. Hit a rock that was in the whoops that I never saw, and it cleaned the spindle off the left front of the car.
Oh, man. Was it in the nighttime, too?
It was dusk, kind of one of those sun in your face and can't really see the whoops, that kind of stuff. I never saw it. Jeff, my navigator, never saw it, but, I hit it and ruined it. And I'm still having a hard time getting over it because we had it.
Yeah. Well, dude, you got to rest on all the stuff that did happen positive, because that's pretty amazing that all that stuff went, I guess, in the right direction leading up to that point, because, we know a bunch of teams that wouldn't have pushed through it and wouldn't have been able to push through as well either.
Well, you never give up in Baja because you don't know what's going to happen, and people break in front of you. They can break a mile before the finish and not fix it, so you don't give up. And we had the crew ran a spindle out to us, and we had the thing fixed. We were down for a total of hour and 10 minutes, and then we drove it in, kind of putt just to finish. And we ended up we thought 5th, but ended up being 6th, and we're pretty happy with that being down as much as we were.
That's crazy. So you take that hour of time off, then there would have been a really, really good chance that you guys won that bad boy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we were 7 miles ahead of second place when I ripped that spindle off, so we were sitting pretty good. But the races aren't over until they're freaking over, and that is very, very true. You can't count your win in advance. That's why Jeff and I were not refusing to talk about the fact we could win.
Yeah, that's a really good...
don't say it and jinx it.
That's a good point. In motocross, we always told each other, if you're going to say, I'm going to go out for one last moto, don't go out for that one last moto ever. Because you're always going to have something happen. How did you feel about your pace during that last little stint then, before the Rock?
Really happy, man. I always thought that we had a fast car, and I know we have an excellent team, and I feel like I can drive okay. It just depends on what pace we need to run. I don't go out there hair on fire if that's not what's needed. We're going to drive what a smart race should be. And it was nice to know that if we turn it up a little bit, we're able to run with the guys that actually do have success. And I got the ultimate respect for all of them who win on a regular basis, because it's not easy. A lot of things have to fall in line. Everything has to be pretty much perfect, or if you do have some issues, everybody's got to have more issues than you, because the competition is really high.
We were talking about that the other day, how it's just winning any of these desert races, it's just balls to the wall, hope you don't break.
Well, best in the desert is floored, never lift. Yeah. And if you change a belt, you're 10th. And in score, the races are rougher and longer, so they're still floored. I hope you're going to win, but usually everyone's running too hard and they break 3 or 4 things. They can still finish top 10 after breaking a few things.
Yeah, because they're a little longer. That's just crazy, man, to think about how all of that logistical stuff goes into action. It's pretty cool, though, that you guys were able to Yeah, and John Huppertz, I think he's one of your customers as well, says congrats, Justin. Yeah, they deserve a congratulations, man, because no matter what, even if they weren't on the podium, it's
you finished.
Yeah.
You had a good team, stayed positive, and you placed 6th.
Yeah.
That's still good. You finished it.
It's freaking awesome, man. And plus, like, I'm just thinking, like, I have it in my head, like, all of these cool places in Baja. Like, I just can't get it out of my head that they were just going to go eat tacos afterwards. Like, it doesn't matter if you cross the finish line in first, you're still getting tacos with everybody.
Yep.
It's a must, man, no matter what.
Well, I really appreciate you giving us a buzz, dude, and hanging out. I know that you got a pretty busy week, but it sounds like we're going to see you on Thursday.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait for you to bring that RS1 out. We can do full show and article on it before you go out and actually win your first race return. I can't wait for it.
Hey, well, every racer who gets on the track wants to win. Cody and I were making fun of me already and saying, like, I'll be like Ricky Bobby. I'll be like, what was that just passed me? Was that a car?
I'm going fast.
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. Well, have a good rest of your night, and tell the wife we said hello to.
Hey, Justin, thanks again for helping George out, man. I know you guys helped me out in the past, and I really appreciate it.
It's awesome to see the camaraderie, dude.
Always. George is badass. Everybody jump on board, help him out. George, thank you very much for your time. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, sir.
Justin. See you later, bud.
All right, bye.
Man, it's so cool to hear those stories. Like, he's got such a great attitude about the racing. Like, you could come home and be like, I had a shitty weekend. I didn't win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's staying positive with it.
There's so many cool things that happen down there, too, though, you know? And, like, all of the little things that happen, like, he obviously knew that the secondary was having an issue. Like, I would have never known that. Like, you or I driving one of those vehicles, we would never be able to figure that out that quickly. So the
hours that they put in these cars, man.
Well, even just the feeling.
Yeah.
Like, he knew what it felt like.
And even our cars, though. We've been driving them for 4, almost 5 years now, right? I mean, I'm pretty good with what if I hear something different, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes a lot to be a racer down in Baja and know what you're doing like that. So I really think that's cool, man. And good on them for having the team to be able to push through and go to the finish.
Oh, yeah.
So I wonder how many people were actually thinking like me and wondering, all right, we got to get this thing finished up quick so that we can go eat.
That's all you'd be doing. I'm surprised you don't have like a little conventional oven for your tacos, dude, to have them hot readies, dude.
Hypothetically speaking, I would be way faster in Baja because I would be going to the finish to get tacos quicker than everybody else. But I do think it's really cool, man. 500 miles on some of the roughest terrain, and you know, you're in a different country. You have all of these different things and competitors and going against you. Like, it's just so cool to see. And we're going to talk with Kristen because she obviously won too. But it just really puts a smile on my face to see people persevering like that.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to her again. I remember I was here when they were on one of the first times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Yeah. She's still a good person as always. So while we're waiting for her, though, we got 2 minutes. Did you get to watch Pro Motocross?
Dude, I haven't caught up on any of it.
Holy smokes, it was crazy this weekend, dude. It's pretty badass to see all those guys ripping it up, too. Like, it's like no matter what, there's not like way too much racing now. Like, we can't even talk about it in 2.5 hour show. There's so much stuff going on. But it was pretty cool to see the Pro Motocross guys. If you guys want to watch Pro Motocross shows, go check out some of those podcasts or check it out on the NBC Sports app because, man, they were killing it this weekend. It was really, really cool to see how much, I don't know, like extra level, like, you know, everybody says, oh, that girl's got extra. That dude's got extra. Well, these dudes on their dirt bikes had way more extra.
They're out. It's outdoors.
Yeah.
So these guys are hauling ass, dude.
Pepper,
yep.
dude. Yep. Like, it was crazy to see.
A lot of people don't like watching it. I'm like, dude, that's where it's at.
You can't. If you could even see the speed that they go, like in real life, it would blow your mind.
Yep.
It's crazy how fast those dudes go and how they can hang on to it for so long. And, they had so much extra this weekend. So I definitely strongly recommend that you check it out. It's called WW Ranch out in Florida, and it was hot as shit. And all those guys. So it was cool to see all those guys kicking so much ass. But, yeah, thanks for Justin for calling in. It was really nice. Kristen's calling in now, so we'll talk with her as well. Kristen Matlock, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I've said this, I think, the last 3 shows that you've called in for. We're not as good as you because we didn't just win.
Oh, funny.
Lots of consistent winning
I
from
had
you,
a good
though.
weekend. What's that?
Lots of consistent winning from you, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super pumped right now still. We literally just got home and got everything unloaded, and you'll probably hear my crew honk as they go by because they're all leaving right now. But yeah, it was a great weekend for sure.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it because I know that your bed is probably looking pretty comfy right now.
No, yeah, we are. Oh, bye. Thank you.
See, yeah,
Okay.
they
Still working.
literally just got unloaded. Well, that's cool though. I'm glad that you guys got home safe as well. So maybe give us a little bit of a recap of what went on this past I don't know, week and a half or so. Because if you don't follow Kristen Matlock on social media, you definitely should. She's been putting out a lot of good content. Last week I think it was you, Craig Scanlon, and your husband Wayne obviously put out a lot of fun social media content with one of your sponsors, Yokohama, and it was really cool to see that because you did behind the scenes of what was going on down there in Baja. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about that too.
Yeah, we went down there last Saturday, and we got down there late at night and got everything unloaded and set up and ready for the next day, and just pre-ran all week long because that's what Baja's all about. You get to go down there and you pre-run, practice the course. Down there at this particular race, it was 500 miles or 495, pretty close to it. But there's 198 virtual checkpoints that you have to hit.
Holy cow.
But yeah. So it's quite a bit. But in between, all you have to do is hit virtual checkpoint to virtual checkpoint. I mean, you can't cut off like a whole mountain or it can't be a huge cut, but if there's a faster line to the left or right of it that's smoother, then it's game on. So you have to go down there and you have to do your homework is what we call it. And it makes a world of difference because when seconds count, it's important to shave off that time. So
yeah, I agree with that.
This go around, yeah. So I had a new co-driver this time. His name's Max Eddy. He's been a professional motorcycle rider for many years now, and he's been doing a bit of co-driving for other teams as well. And him and I just worked so well with pre-running, because I know some good lines and he knows some good lines, and we were able to just kind of put them all together, and we just had to learn each other's language a little bit, but for the most part, everything just worked out perfect.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it did. We can talk about a little bit about the race, but so what Kristen's talking about for people that may or may not have ever raced in their life. Imagine going out on your local trail and you're side by side and you're having a good time with all your buddies, but you know this trail better than the 5 other guys in your crew. And you pick all the smooth lines, right? Like you don't go over the big rocks. You go on the left, and you're going to go up this little side hill or whatever it is. That's exactly what she's talking about. So when she says pre-running is important, she's not messing around.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it could be even like a corner sometimes, but for the most part in corners, they'll put a VCP or a virtual checkpoint, so you can't really cut off a big corner or anything, but sometimes they don't. And so you can turn a 90-degree angle into a straight line, and that's huge, when that could be a matter of 10 seconds sometimes. And
exactly.
Sometimes it comes down to that at the finish line, where you're only going to beat somebody by a couple seconds. So
we already told our audience that you were the first overall UTV, so congratulations on that. That's no small feat. But do you know how many seconds that you won by?
I actually won by 20 minutes or 19 minutes.
So when she says the seconds count, man, she added them up.
Yeah, it's no joke.
And that was to the first turbo. To the second place in my actual naturally aspirated class, it was 3 hours.
Oh.
So I did.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I was mostly racing the turbos because the guys in my class, I believe they're just having a lot of complications. The second place guy had broken, quite a few parts and everything. That's why he was so far back there. He usually runs right there with me. But yeah, so after I got around all the guys in my class, I was able to start reeling in those turbo cars, and I was able to pass every single one of them this time, including my husband, which I felt horrible about, but
So
racing.
What position did you start in? Because you had to probably go through quite a few cars.
Yeah, like in Baja, I prefer a rear start. So I requested a rear start. Somebody actually beat me to it. So there was one car in my class behind me, so that meant that I had 3 in front of me in my class. And then we had all of the class 12 vehicles, which I believe there were 6 or 7 of them in between us and the turbo cars. And then there's 21 turbo cars.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I was able to get around all those guys, and it was actually the 395 miles, because the last 100 miles is where I was able to just be up front and slow down my pace a little bit just to preserve the car, because I knew I was up there, and everyone would, somebody would have to pass me and put time on me in order to beat me at that point. So that gave me the confidence, knowing that I could slow my pace down a little bit and still win.
Yeah, so you were getting communication from your guys in the pits and your crew that was telling you that you were doing good on corrected time?
Yeah, well, the last person I needed to pass was Wayne, my husband.
You're
and
like,
so,
I'm going!
Yeah, yeah. It was between him and I. I don't remember what mile marker that happened at, but yeah, he broke down 100 miles from the finish line, and so I knew as soon as I passed him that I had it.
That's insane. Was he leading then when you passed him?
What's that?
Was he leading when you passed him?
He was. Yeah, he was leading to me he had about 14 minutes on me at that point.
Do you know how many minutes he started? Were you ahead of him on corrected time, or was he still ahead of you?
At one point, so I think he started about 8 minutes in front of me. So on corrected time, 6 minutes then? Yeah. He had me by 6 minutes still.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, I was just going to say, I was trying to stir the pot a little bit for the rest of the week, to see, who was actually, wonder what's going to happen at the dinner table.
Who gets to clean the house?
Yeah.
Right, I know. That's, the number one question that we get all the time. How's this going to work at the dinner table?
It's awesome, though, because we already know the dynamic. You guys are obviously super happy and loving and care for each other, so it's awesome that you guys both did well this weekend. Wayne got a third, and you obviously overall all the UTVs. We had a comment come in. Jeffrey Ricker said, "Hail to the Queen has returned to her throne."
Aw. Yeah, that's what Polaris RZR put on their post today. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Oh, that is super cool. Yeah, it's neat to see all that stuff. So, I want to ask 2 questions. Where was the best tacos that you ate this weekend, and what was one of your favorite moments?
Best tacos. Let's see. We actually only ate at Pete's Camp, which was right next door to where we always stay at El Dorado Ranch down there. They have great tacos, but then within the area that we stay at where the condos are, there's a place called the Pavilion, and I had the best chicken fajitas, which I turned into tacos there.
Ooh,
they're melt in your mouth.
That does sound delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
yeah.
What was your favorite moment or favorite part of the weekend?
Winning the Baja 500. I'm kidding.
Well, I meant it as more specific, standing on the top of the podium with your crew, or giving your husband a hug at the finish line, those types of things, the emotional stuff.
Of course. Yeah, all the emotional stuff. I think it was just knowing that we were going to pull it off, and as soon as we crossed that finish line, that last turn right there, coming in there and just seeing everybody outside of it. Things were a little bit different this year because of COVID. Just like here in the States, we all had to wear masks. So when we got across the finish line, we didn't have anyone there like we normally would. Normally, you've got all your fans there just cheering you on. And it was our crew, which was awesome that they made it. My parents were there. Our boys were there, all in their little mask. And then when I got out and took my helmet off, they handed me a mask. I had to put it on. And so that was just really different. I had to give the speech in that, thank all the sponsors. And here I am sweating to death with that. But
so rough.
It was all worth
it's hard.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
You just got out of a 500 mile ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and you get out
exactly.
and you have to put a mask on. Can you just keep your pumper in your hand?
No, the sun. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Keep your
Can I
bumper in
just
your hand
leave
with
my
your
helmet on? Is
your
that
full
fine?
face helmet and just walk around talking that.
I know, yeah, because it's super humid down there, as well as like 100% humidity, 105 degrees out. We're just sweating and melting here, and then here we are in these masks trying to talk on the podium on the stage. But yeah, like I said, I'll do anything to go down there and race. So it was worth it.
Yeah, 100%. And did you guys get to see a bunch of the same people like when you were pre-running and stuff too? Because I know that you guys give out stickers and stuff to all the locals. Was that like pretty well accepted?
Yeah. Everything else was the same. It was just SCORE, had to follow protocol in order to put the event on, just like all the other promoters here in the state. So they did their job, made it happen, and I'm super grateful that they were able to pull that off.
Yeah, I know that it took a lot for all of those guys to be able to put that race on. We had a couple discussions with some people that were on the inside loop or whatever you want to call it on all that stuff, and there was even like a couple days before the race they were even thinking about maybe it wasn't going to happen. So it was really neat that they all got it to work out. That just really puts perspective on all of these different things that human beings are going through right now. Like clearly Kristen figured out how to win a race and still do all this COVID stuff, but like other people have to go through all of these different procedures and protocols and stuff, and they still making it happen, man. It's badass.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Kristen, we said we had a comment come in from Zach Jeffers that says, "What does Kristen think the difference was that put her ahead of everybody? Driving, prep, car, maybe just luck? Like, what do you think it was?"
Just a combination of everything. I was able to keep probably the same pace that I always do, but my car was just flawless this time, and that takes prep work, of course. And I know Danny, our full-time mechanic that works for us, always puts 100% effort into it and makes sure everything's triple checked. But, every now and then you just get that $5 part that just doesn't want to hold up. And that's what's taken me out of races, in the past, even this year. So, I just think finally the car was just flawless. My driving was on point, and I had a great co-driver with me that called out every single turn, and all the lines we hit just absolutely perfect, and it just all came together in the end. And I just say don't doubt that naturally aspirated car, because with that one I'm just able to just keep it pinned the entire time. Like across the dry lake bed, I'm just floored, and where the turbo cars are having to let off and let their belts cool down a bit. So I think that they're just I think we're just right there with them. Obviously, we're maybe a little bit ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
on average.
And you got a little bit more bottom end too with the normally aspirated car too, so that's neat. Hey, we had a comment come in again, and they said, Mike, I can't see his name. Schulich said, can you ask her to rank this win among all her wins?
To rate it?
Yeah, to rank it against some of your other wins. Like,
rank it?
Yeah, what do you think it compares?
Yeah, I mean, I think this Baja 500 was honestly the roughest Baja 500 I've ever raced. And talking to other racers that have been racing longer than me, completely agree, because it was hot and just humid, and we're in San Felipe, and San Felipe is just known to be one of the most grueling areas to race anyways, and then you make it 500 miles instead of like its normal 250 or 350. So it was super challenging. So I would rank it right up there, top 3 for sure. The Baja 1000 win was by far my most favorite so far, because it's the Baja 1000.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, I also was able to get the overall UTV at the Baja 500. So when I did that for the very first time, I would say, that was just such an amazing feeling to do it, especially in a naturally aspirated car against the turbos. Everyone thought that was super cool. And so, yeah, this is definitely top 3. But right now it's my number 1.
Yeah, it's because you haven't even got to go inside your house yet.
Yeah, exactly. So fresh.
I personally think that's super cool. And so Justin from Shock Therapy just called in right before you did, and he said basically the same thing. He just said that it was like 2 San Felipe 250s combined into one race, because there was so many big whoops, and the terrain was so much different. Like, can you maybe, like, because you kind of just mentioned it as well, can you talk about maybe some of the race course and how gnarly it was?
Yeah, I mean, it's San Felipe, and it's just known for whoops, sand washes that completely try to bog down your car. We did a dry lake bed section for 60 miles, which is really boring, honestly, because you're just floored just trying to get through it, and it's just straight, but it's also super dangerous because you get in the dust and you can't see a thing. It's just a complete whiteout, similar to Vegas to Reno. Some of their sections are
And you're wide open too,
sketchy
going through there, right?
Yeah. Wide open for me was about 76. I think I touched on 80 at one point. But I know the turbo cars, they can get up to like 95, going across that thing.
Can you imagine going that fast in a UTV for 60, 70 miles?
And not even to see in front of
Yeah.
you? No, I don't want to know.
Dude, that's bananas.
No. Yeah, and I had a couple trucks that would pass me, and then they'd fall back. They'd have some issues, and they'd pass me again and just completely dust me out. And like, dang it, just stay up there, But yeah, so it's just really hard on the vehicles. You have a ton of rocks out there, but there's also some absolute beautiful sections too, where you've got these beautiful canyons that the walls are as high as you can see, and they're this beautiful brown colored, like a reddish brown colored wall to them, and some really pretty stuff. So they give you a nice variety, but for the most part, it's just really hard on the equipment. So you have to be smart about it and know that you've got to, check up when you have to. You got to listen to your car, just like you would your body if you were on a motorcycle or a quad or something. Just realize that your car can only take so much.
Yeah.
How does your body feel right now?
I was really sore yesterday, the day after the race. My neck felt like I just had whiplash, because you just get so tossed around in there, especially left or right even, and front to back with those whoops too. And then my lower back as well. But today I feel great. I'm actually going to get up and go to the gym in the morning at 6 o'clock tomorrow, because I think I'll be fully recovered.
Dude, back at it, dude. Spring chicken over
No
here.
joke.
Yeah. I ran every day when we were down there. I had to get up and be out there by 6:30 in the morning, though, because at 7 o'clock it was 100 degrees with 100% humidity already.
Oh, man. So that humidity might kill us, but they even when we were at the Lucas races this past weekend, everybody's like, how do you live in Arizona? I'm like, I don't know. I'm used to it now. Like, I'm good. Anything below 100, I feel like I could, turn off the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do the dry heat thing, but I'm from San Diego. We're not really used to the humidity at all. So going down there and dealing with that, I was like, oh my gosh, just completely melting.
Oh, Cadence just jumped on. Cadence Cowan, and she said that was such an awesome race. Good job, Kristen.
Oh, she's so cute. She was down there with us, her and her dad both, and she took good care of me in the pits. She always gives me all my food and water and anything I need. She takes care of me. She knows what I want.
And so we've actually spoke about this on the show before. Actually, two things that I'm going to bring up, but it's really cool to see that, because Cadence is a young racer herself, and she wants to do these things like what Kristen is doing. And what better way to do it than obviously going down with your mentor, but learning all the ins and outs of what goes on behind the scenes. Yep. It's really, really cool. We've talked about it a million times, and if you're a kid out there, or if you're listening to the show, man, you definitely need to put in the work, just like Cadence is, to be able to go down and figure out what happens when you're putting all the work in to go racing. Another thing that we talked about, Kristen, before on the show was that I definitely, like, one of my bucket list things is to go down and do a pre-run just to go have fun, because I think one of the most exciting things that you just said was all of the visuals that you got going in my head when you said the big cliffs, and then you say, like the different trees and the way the earth looks. I just, like, that gets me going so much.
Yeah, it's so pretty down there, and you definitely should. The fun part's the pre-running. I mean, the race is awesome as well, but when you get to just go out with your friends, like we had Craig Scanlon and his whole crew down there with us the whole time, it was just so much fun each day out there, just driving razors and having fun and coming back. And like I said, having tacos every night and maybe a White Claw here and there, but
just sneak one in when nobody's looking.
Yeah. I'll do it like the first day or two when we get there, but after that it's all about electrolytes and water for me. But And then there's always the night after the race to celebrate.
So one of the funniest
but
things
we had a great time.
Yeah, it looked like you guys did. One of the funniest things that I saw on social media all week. Well, actually, it was the funniest thing. So I'm actually wearing my SMG hat today because thank you very much, Craig, for helping me out with this little RS1 build.
Yeah.
I saw a video that I think you posted it or Craig posted it, whoever did. But Craig was doing an interview and he was looking at somebody's shoes and he goes, "I don't think men should be able to wear flip-flops. It just looks really weird."
Yeah, he has a weird flip-flop thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, we're all in flip-flops, all the guys, and he won't wear them because he thinks feet are like gross or something. I don't know.
I couldn't stop talking about it for the rest of the week after I saw that. I'm like, so every time I see a dude with flip-flops, I'm just going to say something to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's normal because I'm from San Diego and everybody wears flip-flops.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for him to say that, I'm like, what's wrong with you? I don't see why do you not like them? But he's a Minnesota guy, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, nobody wears flip-flops
No.
there. You get tortured.
That's where you wear Uggs, George.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Kristen. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I want you to go get some rest and hang out with the family. I know that you're chomping at the bit, so.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go get some tacos where I live right now.
No way. What's the name of the place?
Here. We like a place called Al Poncho's in Alpine where we live.
Sweet.
But yeah, they have their tacos in Baja and we have our tacos here and they're just slightly different. And I miss the ones from home. So here we go.
Nice.
It sounds like I would be best friends with her if she's eating tacos this often. So, all right. Well, thanks, Kristen. And please tell the family we said hello to. And then going on that suggestion that you made to me, a month ago or so, I still want to have the kids episode with the kids. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about that because I think it would be really, really fun to get all the kids going.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for coming on. And clearly, congratulations. You really kicked ass this weekend. So kudos to you and your team.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, can't wait. Man, so think about how awesome it would be to go home knowing that you put in that much effort and that you won one of the most prestigious races in the off-road community.
Beat everybody.
Yeah, like
everybody.
Not even by a little bit, by a good amount.
Yeah,
dude. That's fucking sweet.
In a not a natural aspirated car.
I mean, so I still don't think when she talks about it, and there's a big comparison. There's the side-by-side industry is horsepower wars, right? Like the new turbo comes out, more power.
I think that it's top running anyway. Like it's a long hauling ass just forever.
Well, I still have this thing in my head. I don't think that the turbo cars are, in my opinion, that much better of a vehicle to drive in a race situation like that. I don't think that there's that much of an advantage. I'm not discounting what Kristen did because there's the class of the field is in the turbo class, and she's the class of the field in her class, right? But I think that the cars are a lot more comparable than what people actually think. I think that those normally aspirated cars can still do some damage, and she's proof that it really can.
It's like in the dunes, man.
Well, in the dunes, I can see the turbos are a little bit more power.
Yeah, you cruise a lot faster, and it's a lot easier.
Right.
But I like having the challenge.
Yeah, would you try driving a Rhino around though?
I have done that,
dude. My dad took his Razor 800 out.
So did I.
Us.
Remember, I used to do it too. I loved it.
He complained about his back hurting too because he was hitting some of those G outs so fast. Because it was easy for us to get around. So I guess I'm kind of on the fence about what I'm saying. Maybe if you're talking about a normally aspirated Razor 800 against some of the new turbo cars, there's a big difference, right? But when you're talking about just a normally aspirated car compared to a turbo car, I don't think there's as much of a difference as what people really think when they go into a dealership.
Yeah.
Although if I was going into a dealership, I would probably still buy let's just say a Razor Turbo S just because it's got that much more power. But I don't know, man. I think it's really cool that Kristen was able to pull that off.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And so we talked about 21 minutes. Yeah, she won by. So thank you, Jeffrey, for letting us know. Man.
And that's a lot.
So a lot of the best in the desert races that they've had, like the Mint 400 and the Silver State, I don't remember what the gaps were from the winners to the second place guys, but we're talking like a couple minutes or a few, like a good amount of seconds, right? Like between the top drivers. So 21 minutes and 500 miles, 495, she said, is a lot, but and well, no, it is a lot because she made up all that time starting in the back too.
And they all stop. If something happens, they got to stop. So I mean, everything it's weird.
That's crazy, man. And so Mike said that his XX does great against the turbos, and it's all about like anything. I've said this a million times on the show, and you've said it a million times when we're talking to each other as well. The new side-by-sides, it doesn't matter what you get.
Yep.
Like, even if you get a new Polaris Ranger, those things are badass, dude. They go good. Like,
yes.
You can have fun in any of them. They're all so fun. So, to me, it's neat to see that. I don't know if you could pull a Kristen Matlock in a Polaris Ranger, but you could still do some serious damage on the trails.
You might be able to finish it still.
Maybe.
Cruising with a beer in your hand, dude.
So, she was going 70, what did she say, 76 or 78?
It was like 78, yeah. And then she said some of the turbo cars getting like high 80s, 90s or something.
Yeah, so that's a good point to bring up, I guess, to talk about what I've been saying right now, is that you don't have to have the baddest car to be able to do that. Like, let's just say somebody passed her doing 20 miles an hour faster, going 90 miles or 100 miles an hour down that dry lake bed. Well, she clearly made up all the time where it really counted.
Yeah.
So her driving skills were superior, which is really, really cool, man. Kudos to everybody that went down there and raced that race, man. I think that all of you guys deserve a big pat on the back. Your crew members, every single one of you guys that was down there, because that's a gnarly, gnarly accomplishment to be able to do. Anybody that knows about desert racing knows that it does not come easy. So anytime you can finish, anytime you can come back home and sleep in your own bed, that's a victory right there, man. So, all right, well, let's get Cody Bradbury on our featured guest tonight and hang out with him for a little bit here. Actually, we have to do a giveaway. We posted a social media giveaway. The guys at KMC Wheels are doing a free tickets. I think there's 4 tickets to the final round of the Pro Motocross Series, because KMC is a sponsor of them. So we are going to go through, so you can help me with this, Cody. So we're going to go through and find the person that won these tickets. So, like I said, I think it's 4 tickets, and it's to the last round of the Pro Motocross Series at Fox Raceway. It's Pala in Southern California. So that's going to be a cool race. It's just cool that they're having people out at the races now, right? So, like, how fun is it going to be to get back to what we love doing? So, all right, so we got a whole bunch of people here that entered. So let me see, make sure I got everybody here. And who knows if these people follow the rules. We're just going to see what happens. But I'll go ahead and give it a spin so everybody can see. Put your finger on that wherever you want, man.
Go for it.
Go for it. All right, so we got Hyperboy Off-Road. Let's see if Hyperboy Off-Road sent us a message. If Hyperboy Off-Road sent us a message, he's good. Yeah, he did. Woohoo! All right, so Hyperboy Off-Road. Gordon Taylor, you are the winner, bud.
Dude.
I hope you live in Southern California.
Yeah,
otherwise
that'd be
you're gonna
nice,
making a road trip.
Yeah.
So, Gordon Taylor, bud, you followed the rules too? Man, you're like my new best friend, dude. So many people don't follow the rules. So Gordon Taylor. So reach out, Gordon, and contact us on our social media account. Maybe shoot us a direct message on Instagram, and we will get those tickets sent out to you. So congratulations on winning. That's pretty badass of the KMC guys to give you guys those tickets as well, because tickets aren't cheap for those Pro Motocross events. So schedule it to get a cool mask made so that you can be like the star of the show out at the event. But schedule it with all your friends. You're going to take 3 people and go have some fun. So we're going to get Cody Bradbury on the horn here in just a little bit. We will be right back.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in the Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
Finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything. So that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, Chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. We are back. We have our featured guest tonight. He is one of the coolest dudes on the track for sure, in my opinion, because of the way his cars look, the way he presents himself. He's got some seriously cool gear. He's a winning Worcs racer. He's a Polaris factory RZR driver. We got Cody Bradbury on the line. What's up, Cody? How are you, man?
Doing pretty good. How about you guys?
We're doing good, man. Thank you very much for joining us. How was your last race that you did over there at Glen Helen, man? Was that pretty fun?
Yeah, it was super good, honestly. We ended up third. My nephew Corbin Leverton rides passenger with me in the BITD stuff. So it's definitely a little bit different, program, racing at Glen Helen for Best in the Desert. We did a 2-day event. So combined first day and second day, and we ended up 3-3 for third overall. Makes the math pretty easy, going like that. But first day started, I think there was somewhere around 32 cars. I think we started 30th. Damn. And we got to fifth overall. The dust up on the ridgeline was a little bit sketchy. Fifth overall was good. That put us third on time. And then we got to move to the front row for day two and got a terrible start. Started last again and had to work back up and ended up battling Mitchie pretty much all day and was able to get around him for third towards the end. So not a bad day. Obviously third is, isn't too bad. Obviously we always want to win, but podiums are good.
Yeah, for sure. So for anybody that doesn't know, Cody's usual racing is Worcs Racing. So I don't know if you can still hear us, Cody, but can you turn your volume down for us a little bit? Yeah, it's turn us down. I can hear myself echoing in the background. So Cody does Worcs Racing, which means that it's kind of like motocross a little bit. And so the best in the desert stuff is more desert racing, longer distances and stuff. So this weekend was, I don't want to say maybe you could give us a little bit more understanding of it, Cody. It was kind of in between a Worcs race and a desert race a little bit, the way they had it set up at Glen Helen.
Yeah, it was really, really close. I think the Worcs race at the last Glen Helen was 5.9 miles. This one was for Best in the Desert was 7.9, so 2 miles longer. Really, the only difference is they didn't water the ridgeline for Best in the Desert, so it was a little bit dusty. Other than that, pretty much the same thing. Honestly, I was hoping I could race my Worcs car, but obviously it's not legal for Best in Desert rules. So Saturday we ran more of a desert setup, 33-inch tires, no front sway bar, and it was good. It was decent. I got back home on Saturday night because we live close to Glen Helen, so I made some changes and went full Worcs on it. Put a front sway bar on, put 30-inch tires, lowered the thing down to 13 3/4 ride height, and it was way better on the second day. Honestly, just didn't really get a good enough start to run up front.
Dang, that's crazy. So, almost nobody would have that same advantage, right? Unless they race Worcs. So he totally knew. That's badass.
Yeah, Blurton showed up pretty ready to go for the weekend. I know he helps Bo Judge out, who races Worcs as well with me. So I think he had a pretty good setup from what Bo runs and Worcs, and he showed up ready. He had his KOH car down low with 30s on it, so he was ready to go. Dustin Jones, obviously, he's pretty fast and he's familiar with short course too. So they were pretty set up.
Yeah, it's cool to see all those guys coming out though. Dustin and his buddies came all the way from Louisiana to go all the way to Glen Helen.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
That's pretty sweet, man. So you guys have some pretty good fun out there, I think. I actually saw some of the moto guys killing it too.
Yeah, it was super. Honestly, it was super fun. I know they had the moto races pretty early in the morning. I wasn't there yet. I came home and stayed at home, so I showed up for the race and then left. It was kind of hot, and we've been pretty busy racing. So I just came home, tried to relax a little bit, and get the cars ready to go. But yeah, a bunch of moto guys were out there, and it's pretty similar to the 24-hour track, I think. So a few of the, Southern California is kind of the mecca for anything off-road or dirt bikes or anything like that. So you had a bunch of people come out for it.
Yeah, it's super cool to see that. And then we were talking about how Mexico operated with the COVID stuff, but it's neat to see Best in the Desert switch everything up. And even though it wasn't a full-on desert course race, they still switched it up and still had an event so they could get points in a series. Because even if they didn't do that, then some of the sponsorship obligations and stuff would fall by the wayside. So it's neat that they're able to give the opportunity to all the racers
make
to
it work.
do it. Yeah, totally. So well, let's kind of Quentin Tarantino this and start talking about how you first grew up, man. Did you grow up in Southern California riding dirt bikes, or what was it for you?
Yeah, born and raised in Nuevo. It's a tiny little town, actually over by Paris. Paris Lake is what I'm closest to. But born and raised in Nuevo, started doing Glamis stuff as a kid and started racing dirt bikes when I was 7. And I raced until I was about 15. And like anyone else, got hurt a bunch of times. And my parents kind of decided, hey, this is it. No more for you. And at that point, got into racing off-road stuff. At the time, 2007, I think, was the first year My dad and I shared driving duties in Moore Off-Road, which is it's a little bit smaller series, but we drove just a pre-runner truck in 2007, 2008, won the championship in 2007, got second in 2008, and then everyone knows the economy kind of crashed at that point, and took some time off and started racing razors in 2013, just locally at like the Dirt Series is the series that I raced there for a few years and switched over to Worcs, and we are where we are.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to hear those stories though. Like all of us kind of grew up on dirt bikes and having fun, like, but we couldn't get away from the dirt, dude. It's pretty neat.
It just got more expensive.
Yeah, it really did.
I mean, honestly, the razors, side-by-sides in general, I mean, I was fortunate enough to start in razor, and I've been in razors my entire side-by-side career. So, but to me, that's the closest thing you're going to get to a dirt bike. I'm a dirt bike kid, always have been, always will be. I'm not a kid anymore, but and I think I think you see that with our stuff. I mean, Corbin and I our suits look like moto gear. I mean, we do some stuff with TLD. Our dirt bike, our cars look like dirt bikes, and that's just aesthetically, that's how I wanted everything to look, and I think it kind of shows.
Yeah. So now that you mentioned that, like, that's one of the subjects that I wanted to bring up. But well, two things. First of all, I love all the stuff that you guys do in design because it's like right up my alley. Like, I love that aesthetic, but it really does help when you can present yourself like that professionally, because it shows people how much you're willing to put into your program just by looking the part. You know,
it just looks way better.
Well, and plus, like, if you look better, it adds like 20 horsepower, so you're good. Like,
I love that shirt, and look at that hat, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Clean.
So,
clean is fast, right?
Clean is fast.
Your car definitely goes faster when it's clean.
So one of the guys that I raced against when I was growing up racing dirt bikes, like, I rode with Ricky Carmichael, but Nick Way was always someone that was around me, and he always was like way fresher than everybody else. Like, his gear was always crispy, like his bikes looked sweet. So I always took like I noted what he was doing and tried to like mimic his program. I could never do it because he was way cooler, but still I tried.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, that was, I mean, I have Corbin who runs under me, kind of part of my team. We have the Best in Desert program, and then we both race Worcs together. And that was my big thing, is like, I wanted all the cars to be the same. I wanted the suits to be the same. Yeah. Like on a normal Worcs race, like, we may wear a different painted helmet and different color goggles, but literally everything else is identical. So that was kind of the big thing that I wanted to do this year. He's kind of raced under me the last few years, and cars have been a little bit different. And this year is kind of the first year we were able to put everything together and make it legit. And then obviously 2021, that's, we're going more that direction, doing the team thing.
It's really cool to see, though, because that's like how moto is, right? Like, all the Troy Lee Designs guys look the same, all the factory Honda guys look the same, Yamaha guys. Like, it's really cool to see that come to fruition for your guys' team. What was the thought process behind that? Like, how'd you come up with it?
Honestly, I just think the side-by-side industry in general is kind of lacking that a little bit, lacking like the big team style of things. And I think if it can go, closer to that, it helps the sponsors, it helps things look right. And actually, even Texplex is a series that we're probably going to be running next year. They're planning on doing like real pro pits and different things that's, closer to like what Lucas would be, or, even what you would see at a pro motocross or supercross, stuff like that. So for me, it was just, hey, no one's really done it yet, so let's try to be the first to kind of go in that direction. I mean, obviously, a semi and all of that stuff would be awesome, but it's just not quite there yet. But so the cars was the first thing that we could do, and then obviously suits and stuff like that. Sparko helped us out to get everything dialed in to where aesthetically it looked right, and Corbin and I could run the same thing. So it was just, it comes from moto. I mean, that's what I grew up doing, and that's where it all comes from.
Do you still get to ride at all, or no?
Yeah, I honestly need to stay away from it. Last time I rode was in Glamis, and that was, we're going on almost a year now. I crashed, broke my sternum, broke my back, got 3 plates and 16 screws in my chest, and I was off for quite a while. Ended up missing the last round of Worcs last year, which obviously hurt championship hopes and stuff like that. So Not doing too much moto stuff anymore. Just maybe 110s every now and again.
Dude, these damn freaking two-wheelers, they'll bite you.
Yeah, man, it's just I love them, but it's kind of been the same thing for me. You know, I've been hurt doing that, and the cage is nice when you tumble a car. You're usually able to walk away, in pretty decent shape. I mean, I've had a couple of things happen inside the car, and obviously everything's not foolproof, but you're definitely in a safer environment doing that.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about it at the beginning of the show. I'm a huge proponent of safety and stuff like that, so it's neat to be able to hear like the stories that other people go through. But man, side by sides are pretty freaking safe now, so it's cool. And plus moto guys, so all of us sitting here like can really like the new side by sides. Like I drove the Unicorn down the street the other day. I think I told you it was like brought me right back, dude. So do you get to ride mini bikes then?
Yeah, actually, right next to my house, we got a mini Supercross 110 track that Corbin and then his brother Lincoln, they held a 110 race like, I don't know.
I saw that. I saw that on social media.
The Leverton Boys thing was next door to my house. So
did you see that, Cody?
I think we had like close to 1,000 people there.
Is it the one with Twitch and stuff that was there?
There was a bunch of big names. Like Buttery had a little video on it. It was cool though. Like they built a good track. Like the track was like pretty dicey. Like everybody could get pretty nasty on it.
That's my kid's 50 track. He rides it every day.
Dude,
it's awesome.
Sweet.
That'd be so nice, dude.
Yeah, well, we grew up in the dirt too, though. Yeah, that's pretty neat that you get to do that still. What 110 do you have?
I don't even have one personally. I ride my nephews all the time. They live next door. So on one side of me is a 110 track. On the other side of me is where they live. So I just walk up and grab their bikes and go spin a few laps and then put it back dirty. That way I don't have to wash it.
Give it back to them, make them wash it. That's perfect. Well, we kind of just talked about, like, I ordered a 110, by the way, at 2021, so I'll have mine pretty soon, too, so I can come over and battle with you.
You got to come out.
Yeah, I'm into it, dude. But going back to the UTV stuff, like, you were kind of at the beginning stages of the UTVs. Like, I think I started racing UTVs in 2015, like late 2014, and then I got my UTV, and then my first race was in 2015. But it sounds like you kind of knew where it was, like at the beginning. Like it sounded like you started a little bit earlier, huh?
Yeah, so my first race was in a Polaris XP 900, and that was in 2013. And then I raced the first round of Dirt Series actually in kind of a sand car. It was my dad's play car, is really what it was. And I got beat and banged around and ended up getting third at the first one. And then we were kind of like, hey, this is pretty fun. So we built a race car out of the car that he had at the time. And until 2016, I was always racing his cars. And then luckily towards the end of 2016, I was able to get picked up by Factory Polaris and kind of get my own program off the ground. And but yeah, I mean, he fit the bill for the first few years doing it, and I was racing his personal cars. So he got a few things out of it now. It's been good for him, but there's no way there's no way I would have done it without his stuff.
Yeah, do you have any of those cars still?
Actually, my first car runs around at Worcs still. Every time I see it, I'm like, man, I need to buy that thing back and clean it up.
So we posted a picture on the intro. It had aluminum panels without wrap on it. All it has was Bradco on the side of it. Was that the one?
Yep.
That one's still running around?
That was 2013. That was the first my first year.
And that car's still running around now?
It's still running around. That honestly, I'm pretty sure it has the stock bottom end in it still.
That's
that thing had I think it had 210 hours on it when I sold it, and honestly, probably 160 of them were race hours. Because Corbin raced it 2 years after I raced it, and then we sold it to Sierra Romo, who raced it a couple times, and then they sold it. It's been raced its whole life. That poor thing. I feel bad for it.
That's insane, cool. Man. That's super cool, though. Next time I go out to a Worcs race, you'll have to show me which one it is. I want to go get a picture of it.
Yeah, it's you'll see it. It races the 900 class. It has big old bumpers on it, and it was all set up for short course.
So one of my questions I want to ask you is about the side-by-side industry, but I just thought about it when we're talking about this car. When do we set up a vintage side-by-side class?
It's coming, man. It's coming.
It's, you know what? It's got to be close. They've come so far. I mean, not technically vintage because it hasn't been that long, but they've come so far so fast that, you look at the, the first 800s, the Polaris 800s, and like they were way ahead of their time compared to Rhinos and everything else. But when you take an 800 compared to like a Turbo S or a new Pro XP or even the Can-Am, they're just, you're comparing apples to oranges. They're completely different. It's like dual shock to when they went to monoshock stuff on dirt bikes.
That's
completely different.
That's exactly why I was bringing it up, because like when I was racing Supercross, clearly the bikes were developed and stuff more, but like I got the opportunity to ride like, I don't even remember what it was, like an old Mako or something, right, with the double shocks in the back, and I felt like I was riding a freaking brick, like, and so I was thinking about it when Cody started talking about it, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this dude's rolling around in his old RZR, but what if like they had a vintage class where everybody has to ride like the first RZR or like the first Rhino or something? I would probably opt out because a freaking back would hurt so bad.
Yeah, you'd be hurting.
Yeah, you'd probably be pretty sore. I actually get a pretty good judge of it because my 6-year-old has a 2012 Polaris XP 900. It's all shrunk up for him to drive it. It's got 4x4 posts on the gas pedal and brake pedal so you can reach it, and a little trophy cart seat in it. Nice, and so I ride passenger and get beat up in the hills with him driving it, so I get a good idea of what it's like.
Are there pretty cool trails that you guys can go up and he can drive on?
Yeah, driving out of my driveway, like 2 minutes, and I drive RZRs right out of the driveway. I have a Worcs track set up in the hills that's probably like somewhere around 4 miles that kind of has everything other than big jumps. So I do a lot of testing actually right next to my house.
Do we need to move to Alpine?
Well, no, he lives in Nuevo, but yeah, like still, it's by Riverside kind of.
Oh, okay.
But you're not. So this is what I was going to get at: is you're not allowed to ride side by sides on the street in California, right? But it doesn't sound like he's like, if we do anything, we got to go by where he is, because then it'll be like we're still in Arizona, but we're in California. And I don't know if you know this, Cody, but in Arizona, we can go to the grocery store, pick up the mail I
get beer all the time, dude.
Cody goes to the grocery store, buys all his vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I live in a tiny town, so there's not even like the closest police department's like 25 minutes away. Cops come out every now and again, and as long as you're not, doing 80 down the road or something like that, being stupid, most of the guys out here all ride or, have RZRs or Jeeps or whatever. Yeah. So they're pretty cool. And we've had RZRs now in Nuevo for a long time. So anytime there's problems with RZRs, the cops usually come to our house.
They just hear like a RZR, or they just go to Cody's.
We need to fill your motor, make sure you
for the longest time, man, I was like, every time there was a RZR problem, they came over and I tell them, I promise it's not me. You can come in the garage and feel them. They're not even warm.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like you guys got some pretty cool trails and stuff over there then.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, from my house, you can get to like Lake Elsinore, backside of Lake Elsinore, like Paris Skydive, Saboba Casino. Like you can get to a bunch of different places just from right where we're at, just crossing a couple of roads. So it's pretty centrally located. It's pretty cool where we're at.
Do you ever have Jesse Nelson come over and ride on some of those trails with you?
I haven't actually been out driving with him, and I know he just moved back up north, or he's in the process of moving back up north, but he's been out by me, just never been able to hook up and go riding together.
Yeah, it's cool. What about like dual sport stuff? Is there good dual sport stuff in the hills?
Yeah, all over. Corbin takes, he's got a KTM 525 that he goes out all the time, takes Shelby Anderson, his girlfriend, with him. So they ride around quite a bit.
Dude, yeah, I definitely want to do that, man. So one of the things that I was going to ask you, though, like, because we talked about the dirt bikes and stuff, but and I guess it could be a dirt bike answer too, but what's one of the gnarliest like race battles or races that you've ever been in?
Honestly, I would have to go back. I think it was 2017, and it was Sand Hollow, and RJ Anderson and I went back and forth.
Isn't that in Utah?
Yeah. It's pretty sandy. It's similar to like Glamis sand, but then you have like KOH rocks sticking out of just the sand.
You should see it.
It's pretty dang rough.
And it's usually really windy.
Like Moab or anything like that. But I would say we passed each other maybe 20 times during the course of about 45 minutes. And towards the end there, I know we were both having mechanical issues. We ended up going first and second. I actually won, but we're going up the uphills, like giving each other thumbs up because the cars were kind of hurt at that point. I mean, we beat them up pretty hard running them. We ran them pretty hard. So, but that was probably the most memorable, most fun. Obviously, there's been a lot of different battles. I've battled pretty hard with Corbin and the RS1s last year, and even the Millers, in the turbo class last year too. So, but I would say that's by far the most memorable one.
So whenever we ask these types of questions and stuff, it's always awesome for me to understand and hear about it, because most of the time, like, every racer wants to go out and win a race, right? Like, you want to win. But if you have a battle, that's the ones that you remember. Yeah. Or if you're like dicing with somebody, or you come from the back and you pass people, like, those are the memorable ones. Like, you hardly ever remember the one where you whole shot and just win. It was boring, right?
Yeah, no, it's been, Sand Hollow, I had won. I've won the last 4 years there. I had a pretty good streak going, and then they took it off the schedule, unfortunately. But I think it was 2018. I started 7th or 8th, and ended up breaking 4-wheel drive in the first lap when I was in, like, I think I was in 8th actually. Ended up breaking 4-wheel drive, and man, I came from close to 2-3 minutes down and was able to grab the win. But two-wheel drive and in the sand, it was pretty rough. I mean, I beat the car to death. The front diff was falling out of it, and it was smoking. I wasn't happy when we finished, but the battles are, those battles are definitely fun.
One of the things that I always thought that was like, I always think 4-wheel drive, it's awesome, right? But I feel like it's cheating, because like when we were at the Lucas races, like I would go in 2-wheel drive and I'd be like, this is so much more fun. Like, it's way more around. It's way more like driver skill and stuff. Like, I always wish that we could have like a 2-wheel drive class, like, that you could race in. So like Cody could go to the Worcs races and race in his like the pro turbo class with his 4-wheel drive and everything, but then you also have like the separate class that you can
take the front diff out, dude.
Yeah,
let's go.
Perfect. Yeah, and keep his whole color scheme and everything, but go out and like rip in 2-wheel drive and have fun. Like, I think that'd be so sick.
Yes, definitely different. 2-wheel drive is I would say 2-wheel drive's harder. I mean, obviously it takes some. I mean, you even see Pro 4 versus Pro 2. It takes some talent to slide a 2-wheel drive around and not spin it out and still be able to put the power to the ground.
Yeah, and it's fun too, because it's like, it makes you feel like more moto.
It's like old school, man.
Everything that, like, well, it sounds like Cody's like this too. Everything for me, like when we're riding side by sides on the trails, I still think like moto is the backbone.
Shit.
You see it. I mean, you even see it like Worcs racing wise, guys that have ridden dirt bikes their whole life, or even, quads or something like that. You see line choice and everything else. It's way different for the guys that have ridden moto, because you're trying to avoid big bumps or, hop over stuff if you can. And some of the quad guys don't really do that. And, there's a lot of quad guys that ride moto too. So you see that, or just the guys that even only have, raced or driven cars, they seem to hit the bumps a little more, take a lot different lines during the race and all that.
Yeah, well, I can expand on that, but real quick. So Tyrone said, "What's up? What's up, Tyrone?" And Eric says, "What's up?" So hi guys, how are you guys doing? So I was actually talking to Jesse Nelson about this. I've only been to one Worcs race, and that was in Havasu towards the beginning of this year. And I went and kind of helped Jesse a little bit and did some video and stuff. And when I went there, I could see like visually when I was watching from the side of the track. I didn't get to watch the Pro Turbo Moto or the Pro Turbo class, but I could see like even the little kids going up to the whatever they call it, the Pro NA class. I don't know, what is it called, stock class or something?
Pro stock.
Yeah, so I was looking at them, and you could see easily what Cody's talking about. There were some dudes that you knew were dirt bike riders, and some dudes that you knew were just, maybe side-by-side riders or whatever.
Go-kart racers growing up?
Maybe, I don't know. And I'm not saying that they were going any slower or faster, but you could visually see how they would time bumps and stuff. And then I saw like the pro guys get out there, and I saw Jesse because I was watching him. And you could see the skill set that Jesse had when he was like in his RZR and he was timing the braking bumps, and it just looked like it was so much easier on his body because the way that he was manipulating the suspension and the vehicle to go through this stuff. So I think that's probably a lot of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I mean, you're beating your body up, but every time you hit a bump, you're beating the car up too. So if you can figure out a way to time something and double it, double into the braking bumps, I mean, you can still do it in cars. You're not seat bouncing or doing anything like that in a car, but you're able to double braking bumps and, skip bumps here, jump across holes if you apex the turn a little bit different. And I think where, that's where I excel even in Worcs is I'm not hitting the huge holes every single lap. I'm able to get around them or jump over them or whatever it is. And it beats the car up less and it beats me up less. So if I need to use the car more in some other spot, it's still, it's still there. It's not too beat to be able to push it at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And so like if some of our audience members don't understand some of that stuff, when we're talking about hitting braking bumps and a rhythm and stuff, like imagine going like up a hill at the dunes or like, competition hill at the dunes. And if you just went full tilt over the whoops and didn't have any rhythm whatsoever, it would really upset the car and it wouldn't feel good on your back, right?
Yep.
But if you time it like a little bit better and you roll over them and you give it gas at a certain time, you can get the suspension to load and unload so that
skip
you can
every other one or something.
Yeah, so you can make it feel a little bit better, and that's what Cody's talking about. It really actually puts a whole nother twist. Like we just talked about, or I wanted to ask about like what we think about the side-by-side industry now, but it kind of puts another twist on that because you have all these racers like Cody that's going out there and doing these things that are 4 or 5 years ago seemingly impossible in a side-by-side, but now they are possible.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really realize it, but like you can click the brakes in the air and drop the nose in a car. You can hit the gas in the air and bring the nose up. Like it's really similar. Like the characteristics are really similar to a dirt bike. And if you've had that skill doing something else or, riding a dirt bike, it transitions. A lot of those things transition. And I think that's why you even see some of these moto guys like Jesse. I mean, he came out and you have to figure out, hey, you can't land on the gas like you can in a dirt bike. You're going to break parts. Chris Johnson, he's another moto guy that races Worcs that, he started to figure out this year. He's winning races, and I think he's leading the championship right now for the pro stock class. And he grew up racing motocross. It's a lot of those things transition. Line choice, like we had already talked about, a lot of that stuff transitions. How the car is going to react when you hit a bump. Those are things that you learn, at a young age, doing all these different sports or extreme sports, you could say. But and that stuff that transitions over where. If you played baseball or you did something like that, you don't learn those things super young. So, I think it's definitely beneficial to start all that stuff as young as you can.
Dude, thanks for the freaking segment. That's exactly why we started the Dirt Life, dude, is because of all those things.
And you know how many people that you meet now that are just starting out?
Yeah, exactly. And
it's crazy.
That's why I think it's cool for people to understand these types of things. Like what I said about, going over the whoops at the bottom of the hill at the dunes is because like he's clearly got it, but it's different when you understand those things and you can take care of your equipment a little bit better or make it so that your wife has a smoother ride or whatever it is in the passenger seat, So we had a comment come in that's Tyrone Robinson asked, what was the best learning moment in your racing
2020.
Nobody wants to learn 2020.
Yeah.
2020 has been a rough year, but no, and I mean, it's just kind of taking everything in stride. I mean, I get frustrated with results. I mean, obviously third place this last weekend in the scheme of things is great. And my biggest thing like that I've learned is like, hey, it's, obviously sponsors want results. People want results. Fans want to see results, all of those things that is very important, but take it all in stride and just my biggest thing is like, use the bad days as a learning experience. I early on in my career didn't. I just, get frustrated and be mad at the situation or, whatever it is, not even think like, oh, hey, like what can I take away from this? What did I do wrong? Is there something that I could have done different to make it different? And that's been the biggest thing. And, it's helped me I've learned a lot of things of rough driving, whatever it was like, on my bad days. I won the championship in 2018 in Worcs and learned nothing that year. It sounds weird to say that. Had the best year of my career in 2018. Actually, 2019 was good too. But those years, it wasn't a super big challenge. So you're not searching things out. It's, you know, it's like the moto guys or any professional athlete that's on top. They're not really learning things at that time. You know, when they're doing the best, it's when they're down in the dumps is when they learn the most.
Yeah, you couldn't be more right with that. Like, I always tell everybody too, in 2017 was supposed to be my best year in side-by-sides, right? Like, I started getting support from a lot of people, and it was supposed to be awesome, but it was literally the shittiest year, like, on the planet. Like, we did so much development and testing for certain parts and pieces and manufacturers and all of this different stuff. Like, there was absolutely no results. But when I look back on all of the stuff, like 2016 was a much easier year. We had some little pitfalls and stuff, but there was nothing more that I could have learned in 2017. Like, it was crazy how much it made it so that 2018 was like the next level, you know? So he's totally right when he says that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, even this year, if you look at, you know, if you look at me from a result standpoint on result sheets, I mean, honestly, it's probably been my worst year as far as my career goes. But I've learned so much. And, you know, Corbin running under me, he runs the same exact car. Like, I've been doing a bunch of testing for him now because he's leading the championship in the Pro Turbo class. And we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot in a short amount of time. I mean, obviously, you know, things have been a little bit weird with COVID and all that. So people are kind of shut down for the last few months. So everyone's kind of coming out of it now, and things are happening, and, you know, we're learning things about the new car. I mean, the Polaris Pro XP was a new platform for us this year. So obviously we had to learn things there, and we've been learning them. And it's, you know, obviously last weekend, 3rd place, that was good for me. I raced an RS1 the weekend before at Glen Helen in the turbo class actually, and ended up getting 4th there. So, you know, results are starting to come. It's just been a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, but that's okay though. Like you said, you're learning, and as long as you can, you don't get back to the truck, throw your helmet, get all pissed off, and just be like stale-minded, and you know.
That was me in 13 and 14.
What do you think?
I threw a lot of goggles that year.
What do you think about Georgie and the RS1?
Dude, honestly, well, you've driven it now, right? So you've gotten a good idea. They are so fun, and they're so tough. You can drive them so hard. Like, I raced the turbo class in Worcs in an RS1. Actually, my Pro Turbo is back east in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Oh, right. So it got hit by a hurricane, so I didn't have it for the last round. And I ended up racing my niece's RS1, which was kind of fun. I was eating my knees the whole time because it wasn't quite set up for me. But I only missed the podium in the Pro Turbo class by a couple seconds. So
holy cow.
They're pretty dang competitive. Obviously, you know, the turbos have a lot more power, and, you know, trying to get by a turbo when you don't have as much horsepower, you know, passing for position on the track is a little bit difficult. But man, they're really capable cars. And I didn't have ideal offset because we run 72-inch Pro XPs, and that one's only a 64. So I had some pretty narrow offset wheels. And so I think I was running, like, stock is what the width was. So I probably spent 50% of the race on 2 wheels, but they're fun. I mean, that was probably the most fun I've had all year racing, and it was in a car that I wasn't even used to. They're tough. You can pretty much do anything you want.
Talk about moto. That's pretty much,
I know,
like, that's a dirt bike.
So that's exactly what my questions were, because I didn't really want to race the UTV World Championship, and then Craig and I started talking about it, and I was like, let me call a few people, and they said the exact same thing as him. Like, dude, they're so fun. Yeah. Like, but yeah, Cody. So I've only had like maybe just under 20 minutes of drive time in it, so I haven't had a whole bunch of time in it yet. All I had to do was just go wide open down a couple big-ass bumpy straightaways, but I think when we do get to the UTV World Championship, if the track is better than what they're saying it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be a shit box, and I'll say that, like, I'll say that. Yeah,
like, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, I won't be there.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, I actually have a wedding. I got a wedding that weekend. I race Worcs the weekend after, and then I race Parker the weekend after that. And then I think we have 1 weekend off, and then we pretty much race back-to-back again. So it doesn't really fit, unfortunately, with the schedule this year with everything getting moved around. I was planning on doing it, but I might come out and do it last minute in the RS1 or something and race the NA class. It's just the desert, obviously the desert stuff takes quite a bit of prep, and I work full time, so it makes it a little bit difficult when I don't have a couple early mornings during the week to be able to get stuff ready. So
yeah, no, I feel you on that, but it would have been cool to, well, hopefully you'll make it out there. I could shake your hand or something. But we had two comments come in that says moto transfers to side-by-sides, trucks, RC car racing. It really does. Like, there's so much that you learn, but you can also reverse engineer that too. Like, if you grow up racing RC cars, there's a lot of setup things that you can put back onto a normal car and just things like that. So
yeah, I know CJ Greaves. He's one of those guys that I think is super into RC stuff. And, I've talked to even Hunter Miller about it a little bit, and he translates a bunch of what he learned in RCs in setting up, his Pro 4. So those things translate. I mean, you have four wheels hitting bumps and it translates. That suspension setup, ride height, all of those things are things that you learn. I don't know. I try to take things in life, anything that I'm doing, I try to relate it to what I'm doing, professionally as far as racing. And there's a lot of things that you can learn from other aspects of, different sports or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, and just life in general, I think. So Tyrone just commented winning at life. So that's the project that we're working on with Craig Scanlon's RS1. And I totally agree with that. And I think Cody obviously agrees with that too, because he's putting as much effort as he actually really can into this side-by-side stuff. And you can see it with the way that he presents his team and stuff. Before we get into talking about your family and things like that, we just talked about how your team is and how you do the colors and you kind of operate it like moto, but what is it like operating your own race team? Because it's not an easy thing to do.
No, you know what? That's kind of, I mean, there's really not many teams as far as the side-by-side stuff goes. So it wasn't like I could, call up factory Honda or, at this, with what we're doing, call up factory Polaris and say, hey, I want to get a tryout for your team or whatever it is. It's, everyone kind of builds their own program. But for me, it works best that way. Honestly, I feel like the sponsors that I have now are the best in the industry with what we're doing. So it's kind of like, hey, I picked this piece. This is something that I want. I can pick this piece. Kind of like what Reed did with his own team when he was racing Supercross.
Dude, I was just thinking
he picked Honda. He thought that was the best. He thought that was the best bike, and whatever parts that he was using, he thought those were the best parts. And that's kind of what I feel that we've been able to do is we have a really, really good package. I think our cars are, if not the best, some of the best. And, that's something that I take pride in.
It really is cool. We got a few comments that just came in that said driving a snowmobile helps too. Well, who is that? John that says that?
Yeah, Hubberts.
Most of us, I don't think, since we live in the South, I don't think we really have that much snowmobile experience. I've never personally driven one.
Me either.
Yeah, and then Tyrone, this is actually a perfect segue because this is our next topic that I wanted to ask you about. Tyrone says, what do you do for a day job?
I do home loans. So I'm slinging home loans during the day and racing on the weekends and being a dad in the evenings and on the weekends and whenever I can. I mean, I'm married and have two little guys. I got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I stay pretty busy. My normal day is pretty much 5 a.m. So I get up at 5 a.m., work on race cars from about 5 to 7:30, 8 o'clock, get ready for my real work from about 8:30 to 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then, do dad stuff and husband stuff in the evenings and, weekends and all of that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that, though, because it's a lot of effort to be able to put into it. And so we used to talk to people about this, and Cody, because I'd spend so much time in the shop or in the garage, like to operate a race team, and mine was smaller than his because he has people that he's helping, but to operate a race team on a professional level, I was putting in roughly 60 hours a week just doing that for about
20
to 30 minutes of drive time on the weekends. Or at the races. And I was still operating my own business, much like what Cody is doing, and working roughly 60 to 80 hours a week doing that just to support the program. And we were getting a lot of support back to us. So it's really like whenever you talk to somebody like Cody or anybody that's got their own race team and they make it sound easy like this, they don't get very much sleep. So,
but he goes in, it's kind of like a reverse. You're reversing it. Most people come home, do it at night, but you do it early in the morning.
That's kind of rad. I like that.
That's very odd.
Honestly, I do it early in the morning to have time with my kids. I mean, they get up pretty early, but in all honesty, I try to do it, and that way I'm not away from my family. When I do it in the morning, everyone's asleep. No one knows I'm gone. I'm the only one that's really struggling because I'm struggling to wake up or whatever it is. But luckily, everything's here on the compound where everyone lives. So I don't have to go too far to work on stuff. The race shop's here. Everything's in house. So that part's cool. It's
plus if you need like a part or something,
when
if you find something broken, you still have the rest of the day to order it instead of being
that is just different, huh?
yeah. No, that part's good. I mean, we try to do a pretty good job after the races in the first couple of days, getting everything here. Break down the cars, figure out what we need to order, get all that stuff here on site. Corbin preps his own car, so luckily I don't have to do his stuff. I do my own and do the Best in the Desert program and all of that. So he does a pretty good job with his car. Obviously, I think he's won 5 of 6 races this year, so he's doing a pretty good job. So it's fun. It's definitely a family affair, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, when you do have that much effort into any type of program, whether it's a basketball program or a racing program, it's always a family affair, right? Yeah, Tyrone said that was his former career, actually, and he was the same one that asked that question. So how is it like just I mean, you don't get very much free time, but how is it when you have free time? What do you guys usually do?
Man, we're still kind of doing the RZR stuff. We're going to the river. I mean, that's what we grew up doing. My kids enjoy it. Obviously, my wife, she would rather go to the beach or go do something away from the dirt. But I have 2 boys, so they live this. My older one, pretty much watches moto videos all day. He's super into moto and super into RJ or whatever. He's drawing pictures of RJ all the time, his trucks and stuff. So
nice.
It's kind of hard to get away from it, honestly. We don't race, we go to Glamis or we go to Camp RZR, we go to the river. So it's that style of things. And I've recently tried to pick up golf, not very good at it, but that's kind of fun to get away and get out of the dirt. I'm trying to get my older one to race asphalt go-karts so we can get out of the dirt, but he's not having it.
Have less cleaning. So what about the golf though, dude? Like, because I have the attention span of a gnat, so like golf is not something that's easy for me. Like, do you have enough patience to do it?
Oh no, I'm terrible. I'm awful.
He's like, beer lady.
So basically what I do is I line up about 45 degrees left to hit the ball straight.
Yep. Nice.
And I don't know how to correct it. I just hit the ball, and every once in a while you get a good swing. And it's like, all right, maybe I'm picking it up, and then you shank another 5, and then you get a good one.
That's hilarious, dude.
And it's hard. Golf's hard, man. It's hard on your body too. If you're out there, it's 18 holes. It really puts it on you.
The last time I was pretty sore. I got 3 plates and 16 screws in my chest back in October. And when you swing and open up, it's not very fun on the chest.
Yep.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. What about like mountain biking and bicycle riding and stuff?
Yeah, I do a little bit of mountain bike stuff, not near enough. I mean, obviously when I got hurt, I was kind of, I wasn't able to do a whole lot, and I was doing everything I could to get back for the start of this year, which I came back a tad bit early. The doctors weren't, super thrilled with it. They were trying to get me to wait a little bit longer, but they pretty much told me, well, you're not going to hurt yourself. It'll be painful. So the first race was in January, and that was a little bit rough, but it's getting better every day. So,
well, you're from moto, dude. You know how to handle pain. So I remember like in 2017, like I broke my hip on January 1st, and I wasn't trying to tell anybody because I was like going to give for a championship that year, and so I just had to like.
I remember it.
I had to grin and bear it. Like I was way too early, like what Cody said. Like I was like 2 months too early, like going to the first race. And I was sitting there like in the bleachers at the driver's meeting, almost crying. It hurt so bad. And then like I walked back to the pits, and lucky I already walked with a limp, so it didn't look like too bad, like too exaggerated. And then so I'd get in the car and I would come back and I would just be like, Jesus, dude, give me some ice or something. Like
it wasn't even like a
pain's only temporary, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like
2016. Actually, I was going for the championship in the non-turbo class for Worcs, and I raced. Both turbo and non-turbo that year, and we raced both classes on the same day. Actually, I got T-boned by a dude at like 80 in the turbo class in the morning. I think it was somewhere around like 10 o'clock, and got knocked out. They took me to the hospital. in Vegas. Actually, it was at Prim. They took me to the hospital in Vegas, and the class that I was going for the championship raced at 3:30 in the afternoon. And they did all the CAT scan stuff, cleared me. I mean, I was knocked out. They took me in the ambulance, did the whole thing, and I got back. And on the way back, I told my dad, "Hey, like I'm going for the championship. Like, I'm going to race." And he's like, No, you're not. You've been knocked out. Like, there's no way. And I told him, "Yeah, I'm like, I don't care what you tell me. I'm racing. Like, I don't care if they tell me no. I'm going to the line and get my car up there." Call them. Yeah. We were late. I mean, the race started at 3:30, and I think I showed up at 3:15. And you have to stage 45 minutes early or whatever at Worcs. And I called and told them, "Hey, get my car to the line and get my helmet, get my stuff there. Like, I'm racing." And showed up with hospital socks on, threw my shoes on right there, and I raced. Hindsight, probably wasn't the smartest decision. I think I got 5th. It wasn't terrible, but I ended up on the podium, for the championship, and it was worth it. I would have been bummed had I not done it. So it's dumb stuff. We all do dumb stuff.
Yeah, full on racer mentality right there. What Tyrone's commented in a couple more times. He said, "Pain is temporary." That's BS. Well, pain is temporary.
Well, I go to bed every night and it still hurts, but yeah, you get over it.
Yeah, so the throbbing pain is temporary. But he said that for the golfing stuff, like, take potential clients out and lose. It's the best business plan ever.
Yeah. That's kind of been the only reason I've been out golfing with, with a couple of guys from work, and it's fun. It's cool to do something else. I played basketball in high school, and I've done some of the ball sports stuff, played ice hockey, done a few of those things. So I've been around regular sports, but man, it's always just come back to the extreme sports or, the dirt stuff, whatever, whether it be bicycles or, racing motorcycles or now side-by-sides. So I've never been able to get away from any of this.
When do you think they're going to have pro mini bike riders, pro pit bike riders?
Dude, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. It blows my mind.
There's dudes that like shred on pit bikes super hard, but I'm waiting for them to come out with like teams of dudes.
Oh, full on, instead of like the full, big old 18-wheeler.
Well, I saw like BBR, like they had like a good, like a pro like squad or something, but it wasn't like pro status. Like,
yeah,
it's
getting pretty crazy, and dudes are fast. Like, dudes go pretty fast. Corbin's little brother Lincoln, he's, I don't know what he is, 18 now, and he rips on a 110. Like, he broke his hand right before they hosted that race, and he was out jumping all the jumps one-handed. Like, he gets down on a 110. He's pretty dang good.
When you watch him, is he full pepper the whole time?
Yeah, and he's like, it's bicycle style, so he's speed rolling stuff or soaking up, scrubbing everything. So
like he can manual and like do all that.
Yeah. He just raced. Havoc is a goggle company that sponsors us. They put on a pit bike like series actually at Lake Elson, where he raced that this weekend. I think he did pretty good, but pit bikes are picking up again.
It's weird. It is
for
weird.
real.
It's
yeah.
weird.
So when you mentioned Havoc, like I had actually talked with Joey Mack, like I don't know, like 3 months ago or something. We were going to have him on the show, but it didn't work out yet. So I still want to have him on.
Yeah, he's super cool. Funny story, went to, I guess, elementary school with him.
Yeah.
He's a couple years younger than me. He lives like not even half a mile from my house. So
yeah.
He's over all the time, and we've done some razor stuff with him now. He does stuff, with Polaris too. So I've done a few things with him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, exactly. I met him through Scuba Steve, so.
All right. Yeah. Steve's married to one of my best friend's sisters, actually, Jared Brown.
Yeah.
I went to kindergarten with him, so I've known him for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's like everybody in like the dirt crew or the like motocross stuff. Like everybody knows everybody at some point. Like it's pretty badass though.
Yeah, it's a small world. That's why you got to be careful not to piss anyone off. It's a pretty small world. So.
Don't fire anybody up too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
All
exactly.
Right. So before we got a rapid fire Q&A section for you, but before we get into that, you had already talked a little bit about your 2021 plans, but hopefully the COVID stuff like calms down a little bit. But what's going on with your program and with the racing team for 2021?
So for us, it's really looking like Texplex is going to be a go. I mean, obviously I haven't signed contracts and stuff like that yet, but that's kind of where things are leaning towards. Still, like I say, still in contract negotiations. Actually, Corbin and I, we'll be teaming up again, doing the same thing. Not really sure in what capacity we'll be racing there, whether it be two classes, non-turbo and turbo. They have two pro classes, so not really sure on specifics yet as far as that goes, but that's kind of what it's looking like. We've raced a couple times there this year, just really to get our feet wet. I didn't want to show up out there in 2021 and get my butt kicked. So, setup's a little bit different. We got to learn a couple things, tire choice and, suspension setup, stuff like that. So, that's what it's looking like. And, a lot of the same customers as far as sponsorship goes, we'll be back, and, we'll obviously add a couple new ones and, change some stuff over. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get to 2021. Texas, it doesn't seem like COVID really matters there. I don't know that they even missed any races this year. So
Dude,
excited to go over there for sure.
When I saw you over there, it was awesome. Like, everybody was just out having a good time. So one of the things that I was thinking before we finish my comment, Tyrone said that, he's had kind of the same story. He was told not to play in a football game, and he ended up playing because he got hurt, and he ended up playing, and he came back and won the CFL, it looks like, and it was the best game of his life. So you never know. Like, it just depends on what your body can do to heal up. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm a huge advocate of willpower and, like, persevering and stuff like that, but I'm even bigger advocate of hearing people's stories, because it's amazing what the human body and the human mind can actually accomplish. And it's not just in injuries either. Like, Cody's not getting any sleep. I mean, he's over here working his ass off to make this team operate and stuff, right? Like, you got to look at it from a want point of view. Like, if you want to do something, you can do it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're staying in your house because of COVID, if you're wanting to get a new job, if you want to make amends with a family member, whatever it is, as long as you want it and you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of value.
honestly, for me, like, the biggest thing is I hate to lose. It's not, and anyone that's competitive is going to be the same way. And my deal is, hey, like, if I'm losing, obviously there's something that I need to change. There's something that I need to do. And I don't know if I'm too dumb to give it up or smart enough to keep trying different things. Every entrepreneur seems like they failed, at least 5 times. So, as long as you keep going, and, my biggest thing is I always want to win. I'm not a sore loser, but I don't want to lose. And no one does. So that's the biggest motivation for me is, after a race weekend, third this weekend, I come home and download on what we did and, what we can change to win next time. So you're always striving. And even at the times where you're winning, it's, what can I do better to either win by more or to make it an easier win, or, what can we do to make it easier?
Dude, 100%. Yeah, we used to log all of our data and track everything with GPS, like every single thing we could do. Even if I was off by, an 18th of a second going into a corner, I knew that I needed to fix that. So 2 things that I was going to say was, the first thing is that when I was at Texplex, honestly, I think if you took Miles Cheek's car off of the Lucas track and put it to Texplex, you wouldn't have to change very much, dude. Like, it would be pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The Lucas setup is, I think, really, really close, which makes it easy for us because obviously we use Walker Evans Racing for shocks. They do stuff for Ronnie and RJ and Miles too. So I feel like we will have a pretty good shock package when we show up, and what we tested was pretty close. Tires, we were working on some stuff with Tensor, to get some tires that are more suited for that, and so the setup thing is really close. Miles's car obviously will rip there. Our Ronnie actually went and did pretty well right off the bat too. So I think we'll be able to take some pieces from the Lucas setup, and I think there's a couple changes. The tracks are a little bit smaller, so maybe a little bit narrower cars might be a little better there. So we're still trying to do a little bit of testing and figure a few things out.
Dude, I love all the freaking thought process that he has going into this. So when I went to Texplex, I remember, and Elliot Cook is one of my friends, and I love seeing him and his Honda out there. But he was racing a Honda Turbo against Cody and his Polaris Turbo, and they got in both of them have motocross backgrounds, and you could see him getting this motocross dogfight on the track, right? And I was actually videotaping, and I don't know if Cody, if you saw it, but I posted on social media. It was they were coming around this, like, it was kind of a maybe like not a 90 right-hander. It was a little bit more of a sweeper, and Cody set him up in the left-hander before. And, dude, you could see both of them full moto, like, not letting up, and Cody just barely edged him into this little roller section. It was one of the sickest passes that I saw the whole weekend.
You posted that.
It was awesome.
Did you post that or something?
That's the cool thing about Texplex. I mean, their racing is so good.
It really
the
is.
Back and forth, and you don't have to bump and bang, really. I mean, obviously you're going to put a bumper or nerf on someone at some point, but it's really open to where you can slide up inside of someone and get by them and not have to just clean their car out to do it. That's the thing that I like the most about that place.
I still think for that Talladega turn that they had kind of on the inside or downside of the track, they had the
big bowl turn.
They had a huge bowl turn. I mean, it's like it almost looks like the size of going like a sand dune bowl. Like, it's massive.
You just slide around it.
Everybody took the same line. Like, unless you fucked up and you, like, went outside or something, everybody took the same line. So I think they should supercross it and, like, put, like, a little, like, couple bumps on the rolling bumps on the inside so people got to go up towards the top of the, like, bowl. Like, because how much more fun is it when you're at the dunes and you crest the top of the bowl and just throw some sand off the top of it? Like, and you could get the racers to do that where you have separate lines. It'd be sick.
Well, hey, if they're watching, they'll probably do it. I know Corbin and I told them, hey, put a Joker lane in for the main event.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we were there. And, dude, they had it cut in the next day for the
That's pretty cool.
Dude, we're going to have to give Scott Champion a call and let him know, dude.
They're pretty cool about doing stuff like that.
And that's the way that they run it, 2 moto formats, like dirt bike races and stuff.
Yeah.
It's sick, dude. Like, I
Changed
really
it up.
Yeah, I actually have, for the Unicorn, I have some short course tires that I've ordered to go to Texplex.
Yeah, you're going to go, huh?
I don't know, man. We'll see. Maybe I'll have Cody pick up
my. You'll come out and check out one of our cars. You're more than welcome anytime.
Okay.
We're planning on going and maybe leaving some stuff there. So
okay, that'll be cool, man. Well, I would love to go back out, whether it's just to hang out and eat with everybody and hang out. Then it'll be cool. But so we still have this rapid fire to get into. But Tyrone said, "What advice would you give to a young gun that is trying to get into the sport?"
I get this question quite a bit, honestly.
Really?
For me, my biggest thing is, like, stay true to yourself. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, Instagram is crazy. It's been a super useful tool for me, but it's also been, like, terrible in the fact that I feel like there's just a lot of people out there that are, give me. My biggest thing is, like, focus on your racing. You're not going to get the exposure, or when I say exposure, you're not going to get, like, the long-term exposure just only doing social media stuff. In my opinion, you need to build a base, and I feel like that's what I've done really well is the social media stuff, and I'm still terrible at it. I don't do enough. I need to do more, which, who has it all figured out? I don't know. There's a couple people, but not many. But I feel like results is a good base. Like, you just focus on your racing, focus on getting your car right, focus on, presenting yourself in a way that, Polaris or Tensor or Method, some of these sponsors like that I have, that they'll look at it and say, okay, yeah, this kid brings value. Or no, this guy over here, like, he's more worried about having a good time, or, not really focused on the results. And there, there's people that do it without getting results. But for me, I don't come from a background of off-road racing. My dad he rode dirt bikes in the hills and stuff, but never raced anything. I'm first generation. So for me, it was like, hey, results is, like, where it's at. And he instilled it into me, hey, we're not going to do this. Like, if you're not going to take it serious and be competitive, like, we'll go play, we'll go to the dunes or go, go do that. I think that's the biggest thing is, like, obviously you're not going to win everything, and it's frustrating when you don't. When you're at that level, it's hard to stay motivated and want to keep winning, or, if you're not winning, try to get to that point. But I think that's the biggest thing is focus on your racing, focus on your craft, and learn how to go fast. Watch watch pros, watch videos of people. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, RJ's younger than me, and I watch videos of RJ. Like, just on YouTube, just learn how people do things. And it's you can take something from everyone. And if you look at my driving, you probably see, certain aspects of other people. And like Corbin, my nephew, I mean, he's grown up with me. We've driven a ton. Like if I watch him, it's like, oh yeah, he's taking the exact same thing that I would do. That's the biggest thing for me, is just focus on yourself and focus on getting good before trying to go after everyone else. I just feel like long term, that's the best sustainable way to keep a career going.
Yeah, I agree with every single thing that he said. I would add on to it a little bit though too, Tyrone, and tell you that like, if it's a young gun, and I guess it's the age that we're talking about. If it's a real young gun, like a kid, make sure that they're having fun first. Like if they don't want to be there and they want to go play with their friends or they want to play basketball or something, just let them do that. Like make sure that they're having fun first. And then if they show the drive, like what Cody's talking about, and they show the want to win, and they start showing the ambition to be able to do these things, then make sure that you're doing exactly like what Cody said and focusing on what their end goals are. Make sure that you break it down into milestones so that they can achieve little things as well on the way.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I mean, I don't know that just racing from a super young age is like necessarily the best way to do it. You face burnout or whatever. I mean, I think I was 24 my first side-by-side race. Like that's old in terms of things, but I had always, I'd grown up, I'd ridden dirt bikes, I'd driven dune buggies and done those things, in the dunes, just from a desert aspect, but never really raced any four-wheeled stuff. And like I say, I think I was 24 is what I was. And man, like I've come a long way in a short period of time, but I took a lot of things that I learned along the way, just not from racing, just from other things that I don't know that racing. I mean, people ask me all the time. My son's 6 years old. He drives razors. He rides dirt bikes, and they ask me all the time, "Hey, when is he going to race? Hey, when is he going to race?" And it's just one of those things where it's like I'm not really pushing him to do that yet. Is it fun for me still? Yes, it's still fun for me, but I'm ultra competitive and I want to win. And like it's fun when I'm winning. It's not super fun when I'm not. So I don't really want to force him into that yet. I just want him to go ride and go play and go have fun. And at the point where he's really beaten down the door and I think he's ready, then it'll be time for him to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And this conversation can go on for freaking days because it really leads you into all this stuff. Like John just commented in saying, what about sponsorship and stuff? Well, that kind of goes all in the same things. Like there's different levels of it, right? So like Cody's talking for his son, like you got to just make sure he's having fun. Like the fun is the key, like Tyrone said, and go through it. And when you're at a level like where Cody's at and you hate to lose and you have to still keep these sponsorships, it adds a whole other layer of complexity on
and then
there.
you face, like you said, getting burnt out and stuff too. That's
right, and you see all those things happen, but when you're running it like a business, John, like it's a little less fun because you have to put so much effort into it. But if you enjoy winning as much as Cody, the payoff is still worth the reward. All right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously sponsors put pressure on you, but it's a little bit different. I mean, it's good pressure to have. It's when you don't have sponsors, you have the pressure of, I need to do good so I can get sponsors. When you have sponsors, it's I need to do good so I can keep sponsors. So there's always the pressure there. I mean, it's one of those. It's the industry. I mean, it's like any job. I mean, you want to do good at your job. I think any red-blooded American or any human being, period, wants to be good at what they do, no matter what it is, and I think that's what keeps everyone, keeps them going every day.
Yeah, exactly. The drive that keeps people going. All right, so man, we've been talking about this stuff for a while now. You ready for your rapid fire Q&A?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, you want to start, Cody, or you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so the first one, dunes or the river?
I think we already know
dunes.
That. Yeah. Three-wheeler
dunes
or quad?
For sure.
Go ahead.
Three-wheelers or quads?
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big quad guy, and three-wheelers seem pretty sketchy and kind of dangerous. So I think I'm going three-wheeler.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with like option B. Can I minus one more wheel and just go two-wheeling?
The big fat tire, the fat cats.
But I wanted to keep it right.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, have you seen some of those new three-wheelers that they're doing? They have it's like
450s.
It's a 450F, but then they add an axle.
Pretty squirrely.
Dude,
I'm not sure I'd hop on
awesome.
You rode one?
No, I want to ride one.
No way, dude.
Oh my,
No
that thing is
freaking
so
way.
badass.
No way.
Dude, come on.
You would kill yourself.
No, that'd be
dude,
so
wear
much fun.
Wear like a blow up bubble suit or something.
I grew up on three wheelers, man. I'm all about that.
Not a huge fan.
Oh my god. Barsha or Webb?
Cooper Webb for sure. I gotta go with Cooper Webb.
I feel like it's because of the racecraft. Is that why?
Yeah, he's just, to me, he's a guy that, I mean, style wise, I like the style more, and he just hates to lose. That's I mean, he's cocky, but you kind of have to be, I think, in that sport. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're trying to get in people's heads. So, and he's good at it.
I think I'm going to drop down to Uggs or Crocs.
Oh, okay.
Because that's my jam.
You want me to? What? Are you on that one? Well,
No.
let's keep going then.
All right. So you're going to do, let's do, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food, tacos.
Yes.
I know you guys were I know you were talking about it with Kristen earlier. I was watching the show.
I just had some in the
Tacos
halftime.
are definitely my number one.
Yeah, I got us tacos before the show tonight, so bring them in the studio. Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls.
Dude, we be getting RJ picked pizza rolls too. RJ Anderson was on last week. I don't know if you got to see that, but he picked pizza rolls too.
Yeah, pizza rolls. That's where it's at.
Especially with the kids, right?
Yeah, well, you just throw them in there. You can have some, and then they have dinner.
Yeah, but no matter what happens, you burn the shit out of the roof of your mouth. That doesn't matter how long you let them cool off for. It still jacks you up.
It like makes that little noise.
They're so good, you don't want to wait.
I know.
Favorite soda?
Sprite.
Oh, Sprite.
See, I don't even drink soda.
Sprite or Cactus Cooler?
Oh, dude, I forgot about Cactus Cooler. Cactus Cooler is so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh. Honestly, I think flying.
Dude, I knew it. I was going to say
I think that would be it. I think that would be pretty cool. Get a bird's eye view of everything.
Oh, dude, you landed on your question, your favorite question.
Dude, Uggs or Crocs? Be straight up.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have a pair of Uggs in the garage, so I'm definitely going Uggs.
Yeah, what are we talking about now?
Dude.
He just doesn't understand. He doesn't understand, man.
This is my preferred shoe choice, which we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into Craig Scanlon a little bit because Kristen said he doesn't like flip flops. So summertime, my work boots in the garage are flip flops.
Nice.
Wintertime, my work boots in the garage are Uggs.
Yeah.
So that's it. I got two choices. I have to wear dress shoes during the week for work. So
dude, Uggs are where it's at.
I gotta try to get the Uggs and the flip flops in there when I can.
Dude, Cody's obsessed with Uggs. Like he's
I go through one pair a season at the dunes.
Yeah.
So he's starting to
They
go
get pretty destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the fire and all that. So he's getting ready to go to the dunes on Wednesday. So he's probably like all stoked because he's breaking in his new Uggs.
No, I can't wear them just yet. This is too warm for that. But I will have flip flops on the whole time.
It might be a little bit hot for the Uggs this weekend.
Yeah, not happening.
Well, you kind of already answered this, but most memorable race.
Yeah, like I say, it's got to be the one with RJ. That one, I mean, obviously that was the most fun battle wise. 2018, the last round of Worcs was when I won the championship, and the race was terrible. Lost brakes, had some issues, but honestly just kept going the whole time and was able to beat Hagsma for the championship. He actually finished right behind me, and I think I won by 7 points. And like, as far as a memorable race, when I crossed the finish line, I didn't really know where he was. I knew I was in front of him, and I knew I had enough points to make it happen. So that was huge. That was a pretty cool experience. I had finished third the 3 years prior to that. So to finally make it happen in 18 was a pretty cool experience.
Dude, that's cool.
Crazy.
Like, how gratifying is that when you cross the finish line, right? What's the next one, Cody?
Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Cookie dough.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I can go for a cookie dough blizzard from DQ at any point.
Yeah.
What would you pick right now, Cody? With your favorite flavor?
It's either that or it's gonna be sherbet.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a sherbet guy.
Sherbet might be kind of better in the heat though too.
That's just what I've always gone through, man.
Dude, we've been asking this question. I've been like on a Pralines and cream tip for like 2 months, dude.
Really?
I've been wanting that for some reason. I don't know why, man. Maybe it's because I hit my head. Dude, I couldn't get enough orange soda. I mean, you were at the house and stuff. Like when I hit my head and broke my skull, like orange soda was like my addiction. Like, thank God it wasn't heroin. It was just orange soda.
Hey, that's a good problem to have. At least it's soda.
Yeah, dude. I still couldn't. And now I don't even care about it at all. Ski or snowboard?
Snowboard.
Yep.
I'm a little bit later generation, so I think I skied one time when I was a kid, and then got on a snowboard when they were the size of about a regular skateboard. So I've been snowboarding for a while.
Oh, right on.
Dogs or cats?
I thought I was always a dog person. Just recently got a kitten for my kids, and it's an outside cat, but we live in the country, so there's rodents and everything else around here. So we got a cat to be an outside cat, and honestly, they're nice and clean and they don't bug you. So I'm a cat guy.
And
I've got both.
And they clean up all the rodents too.
Yeah.
My parents.
Exactly. That was the kids wanted an animal. We were like, no way, never getting an animal. And then we settled on a cat because at least I feel like serves a purpose, I guess.
Yeah, well, I always like dogs too. I like both. I'm allergic to cats, but so my parents have one, and it's like it's been around for so many years. Like if you put it inside the house, it'll wig out. Like it'll lose its shit. Right?
Doesn't like it.
Yeah, it wants to be outside all the time. And then when I lived at a different house, like what was it? 5 years ago? 8 years ago?
Were we over at the old house?
Yeah. And so there was a bobcat that lived on like in my backyard basically. So he would just sit up on the roof and he would just look for stuff in the back. So he would keep that thing totally clean, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good at it. We had a bunch of lizards and all kinds of other junk running around, and dude, I haven't seen anything since it's been here, and it's tiny still. So he seems to be doing the job already.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you guys have snakes and stuff over there?
Yeah, good time.
So we got like in Arizona, one of my buddies, actually Craig Scanlon's dog just got bit by a rattlesnake today. And then so one of my buddies in Arizona, his dog got bit by a rattlesnake the other day too. So like, I don't know what the heck's happening. These dogs are out there playing around or what?
I blame it on COVID, dude.
COVID.
Part of the game.
2020 is a weird year.
Yeah, it is, right? Hey, you guys have Gila monsters out there?
Have what?
Gila monsters.
I don't even know what the heck that is.
Most people don't.
Dude. I got this one that hangs out at my house. It's like, it looks like a little Komodo dragon. It's a small one.
And orange back.
Yeah, they're black with orange spots on them. They're super cool.
I can't say I've ever seen one. I mean, we have tons of different lizards running around, but I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Yeah.
It's a dinosaur, dude.
They're basically our dinosaurs. Yeah. They're badass, though. I have to send you a picture of one of these days. What was the next one? Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Burrito or tacos? We already know that one.
Yeah.
Tacos.
Dude, the California burritos are pretty delicious, man. Supercross or motocross?
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, I like the cleanliness of Supercross. I'm pretty anal with stuff, so I like how clean everything is, and when the bikes come out under the lights, everything's all sparkling. But I like how much of a man sport outdoors is. I mean, the dudes are pretty gnarly. I mean, you go 30+2 when it's 105 outside, and you do it
crazy.
2 times in a day. Those dudes are unreal, in my opinion. They're the best athletes in the world, no matter what sport it is. It's pretty crazy to watch. I know you talked about it earlier, just watching them in person. It's, getting to see how fast they're actually hitting stuff. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the things that I was going to mention to even expand on what you're talking about is like, so Supercross, they have the teams, like, because we talked about Cody operating his own team. Like the teams for Supercross, they have a certain cycle of where they replace motors and they refresh the bikes and stuff like that. For outdoors, it's not even like twice. It's like 3 or 4 times the amount of work that the team has to put in. It's freaking bananas. So like when I talked to Scuba Steve about it, I was like, dude, how is that even like feasible for these dudes to get any rest? Like they're working so hard and they have so much stuff. Like after that Loretta Lynn National, I know just the Geico guys, they had to replace 9 motors after one weekend. 9 motors. So not just the shipping, all those dudes in the shop had to bust out 9 motors. That's just insane.
Yeah, I know they had a rough weekend. They blew a few motors, and you got they got 4 guys, I think 5 guys on the team with Mumford now. So you put that many bikes out there, you're having problems for sure.
Freaking bananas, dude. What's the next one?
What other form of racing would you like to try?
Oh, dude, and this could be like monster trucks, boat racing, whatever you want, man.
Scooters.
So honestly, if I had anything, if I could pick anything, it would be F1. I mean, that stuff is insane. Actually, Corbin has a sim rig, a Sparco sim rig up at his house, and I hop on there and do the F1 stuff. I don't even want to play in the dirt stuff, but that it's pretty unreal. I mean, if it's anything like iRacing is, it's pretty insane. Like you're doing 250 and then you bank into a 90-degree turn at 145. It's pretty crazy. I actually got to drive what did I drive? It was a Ferrari 488 at Speed Vegas when Polaris hosted their launch event for the Pro XP last year. And just even that, like, I don't know what they had sprayed on the track. I think they had some grip on the track, and luckily the guy that rode with me, I got to take for a ride in a RZR in the morning, so he knew I knew how to drive somewhat, so he let me hammer down pretty good. And dude, it's unreal, just even in the Ferrari, just how fast you can take corners. The street stuff's pretty crazy. If anything, I definitely would want to give that a shot.
Dude, yeah, road racing is awesome, man. So I actually have a funny story that I haven't brought up in a million years, but so I taught a school like a driving clinic at Bondurant School of Driving. I don't know if you know where that is, Cody, but it's by Wild Horse Pass. And so they basically have they have their own cars out there. At the time, they had a bunch of Z06 Corvettes, and I think they moved to Dodge Vipers. But I got to bring out a Yamaha YXZ, or a side-by-side. They had a Polaris deal too, but and I got to show all the instructors how to drive a side-by-side on pavement. It was really cool, to see, because they were interested in seeing the difference in how you drive because they would take a pavement car skill set and go get in the side-by-sides, and they would teach people rudimentary skills in a side-by-side on a street course. And then we would go and show them more of an elevated style of driving in an off-road car, but we were still on a street course. It was phenomenal to see those guys, because it's a totally different wheel set, or whatever you want to call it, skill set behind the wheel for those guys, because they had absolutely no idea what you do with the clutch, what you do with your brake. Mm-hmm. They are so tuned in at this road racing stuff. It's crazy how much different it is. And it was really neat to see them, even the instructors, progress throughout the weekend or throughout the day, because they would learn little things, and then they would show me stuff in the street cars, and I'd be like, whoa, this is crazy.
Totally different.
Because them going into corners and the way that they would carry speed blew my mind. I couldn't figure it out. And then we both learned off each other and were able to figure out the different techniques. It was badass.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing for me. Even when I drove it, it's I'm coming into this turn and we're doing 120, and I'm at some point I need to slow down, and he keeps telling me, stay on the gas, stay on the gas, stay on the gas. And then all of a sudden it's all right, brake hard. And in a RZR or, a side-by-side, when you're in the dirt, I'm so used to the dirt stuff. It's no way. If I brake that late, I'm sliding right through the turn. There ain't no way I'm making that turn. Or, there with big old brakes, and, obviously you have a little more traction on the pavement. Yeah. You can slow down way later and, get on the brakes way later. So it's definitely different for sure.
Yeah, it's super different. John commented in and said PJ1 actually makes a track compound. I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
That's crazy. All right, final question of the night, man. This is a profiling question as well, too. So, chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Chips and guacamole.
Winner, winner, winner. Sweet, dude. Yeah, you win with tacos and chips and guacamole, dude. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, the town that I'm from is Nuevo, right? Yep. So there's, I think, 3 restaurants in this little town, and they're all Mexican restaurants. So
that's my kind of town right there.
That's what I grew up on. That's where it's at.
So Shelby came on the show, and she was talking about Ancho's in Riverside. And last time when I went to pick up the RS1 from Craig, my dad and I got to stop at Ancho's and eat over there. And I talked with RJ a little bit about it, and I was like, I didn't really care for the tacos that much. They weren't good. But he goes, yeah, dude, But how many freaking tortillas did you eat? I was like, so many, because they're these puffy little tortillas.
so good.
I was like, dude.
There's over by me. There's Los Vaqueros, and they're the same way. They homemade tortillas. They're unreal. So
dude,
you can definitely fill yourself up on those.
There's only like chips and guacamole is one of the all time, but when you can get homemade tortillas, that's sometimes like, dude, that's like next level, man. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, dude, and talking shop. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Good
so
to meet you.
I know you got a lot of Worcs races to go to, and obviously Best in the Desert stuff happening in the next few months here. I hope to see you at the races, but if I don't, go out there and kick some ass, bud. We're really rooting for you.
All right, we'll do. Good luck to you too.
Thank
you.
you. See ya.
All right, bye.
I love having those conversations, dude, because it just makes you so much more happy about all the things that are going on in people's lives, right? Because the perspective that he's looking at it from, like shitty years, good years, whatever it is, like he's still so happy and so driven to be out there at the track.
Everybody right now with 2020, man. You know what I mean? Like if you can get through this year and 2021 hits and it's smooth sailing, that means you did something correct,
dude. You know how many people are going to be like January 1st is going to come around and they're going to be just balls to the wall, so happy.
Everything they're doing, it's going to be amazing. So
I do think it's really cool that Cody has so much going on. Cody, he has so much going on in his racing program. One of the things that I admire most about him, and then I said it at the beginning of the show, was in the introduction to his part of the show was, I love the way that he does his program. I love the way that he keeps things uniform. I love the designs that he uses. Every single little thing, and he said he was anal, but it all requires a lot of effort. And, you and I have talked about this before. How much effort you put in is how much reward you get back, right? And he's doing that. He's unbeknownst to him, he's changing, just like we did at the first start of the side-by-side stuff. He's changing the future of the side-by-side racing community in the industry. He's showing more like motocross is. Like, I can promise you that within a few years here, maybe 5 years or so, there will be factory side-by-side teams. There will be semis. There will be. And he's on the forefront of that. He's starting the thought process in people's minds because he's visually showing them that you can have this professionalism and you can operate like the way that motocross does. And I can't say any more good stuff about it because it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Cody Bradbury, for joining us. Thank you very much, Kristen Matlock, for calling in and talking about how awesome she did, man. Just the amount of taco talk that was here today.
I'm hungry again.
Phenomenal. So thank you very much. And we missed a couple topics that Cadence talked about too. So Cadence Cowan commented in while Kristen was here before we could answer her question. She said she also beat all of the turbos in her class and won multiple championships in a normally aspirated car.
Awesome.
It must be girl power.
It must be.
So I think it's just driving experience, Cadence. You're a girl and you kick ass, and so I would definitely focus on that. But you're just a badass driver, so rest on that. You're just a really good driver, and you can beat all the boys, right? So thank you very much to everybody who called in and who chimed in and hung out with us tonight. It was really awesome. So like I said, for next week, we won't have a live show on Monday. We're going to be producing content and having a bunch of fun stuff happen during the week at the UTV World Championship. We're going to pre-run the UTV World Championship new race course on Monday, October 5th. So that's why we're not going to be able to have the show, and we're obviously not going to be in the studio. So we're going to try and see if we can come up with a bunch of videos. We're going to talk to a bunch of people. So instead of just seeing two big old hairy guys talking in the studio, you're going to be able to see all of us talking to all the cool racers and having a good time. So the content will be much better than just a regular Dirt Life show. You guys just have to wait a little bit for it. So I also said at the beginning of the show that we're going to have the unveiling of the RZR RS1 this Thursday on the Shock Therapy live stream. We're going to do a photo shoot with it before, so you'll see it on social media if you can't pay attention to the live stream. The live stream for Shock Therapy starts at 12:30 on Thursday, so please join us for that, and you can check out the new car and see, ask any questions, and chime in and mess with Justin a little bit and see if we can get him confused on any questions. So that's super cool. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you so much, like I said, for chiming in in. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And if you're listening on iTunes, thank you very much for doing it tomorrow, because the show will be up tomorrow. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We really appreciate everyone. Thank you to Shock Therapy. Thank you to Solderwell. Thank you to Zollinger Racing Products. Thank you to KMC Wheels. We really appreciate everybody. You can use the code DIRTLIFE on those guys' websites to save a whole bunch of money, or just give them a call if you're old school and you want to hang out with them and on the phone and ask them questions, because they can definitely help you out. Just tell them the Dirt Life sent you. Really, really appreciate you coming and joining, Cody. It was awesome. I know
it was nice to be back. It's a long day today. I'm tired.
Yeah, but it'll be worth it, because when you get to the dunes, you'll get to be able to talk about all this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I can't wait.
So,
congratulations on number 58.
Well, yeah, show 58. Did you ever think that we would have show 58?
No.
Like, that's bananas.
It was just, it was ongoing, and it was like, okay, and then all of a sudden it just started picking up, and look at where you're at.
Yeah, well, where we're at, well, all of us. It's not just me. Like, I love doing this show because everybody communicates. Like I said at the beginning of the show, like, it's crazy how much awesome people we get to meet in the industry and just in the dirt.
I mean, I met so many great people through you.
So. Well, not just through me, but you also have your page that does it too. Yeah. But it's cool how everybody has the same like-minded, and everybody has their own individuality too. They all have their own individual cars and stuff. I love it, man. I couldn't be asking for anything more. And it's funny that you say that, you feel like it started kicking up and ramping up. Well, I feel like it's barely getting going now. Like, it's
moving a lot faster than you think. I see it from the back all the time.
It's cool,
always
though.
seeing it. So.
I love it, man. And it's all thank you to the sponsors and to the people that watch. So, and obviously thank you to you, and thanks to Carly for letting you, get away for tonight.
Yeah, she's all sad. You know how wives are.
So, I really appreciate everybody. It means so much to us. So we won't see you next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks, but please pay attention and hit us up on social media. We love you guys. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.